Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Head coach talk yesterday at the owners' meeting. We had the not yesterday, Monday. Wait a minute. What is what day? is
Tuesday.
Yesterday. Yes, you are correct.
They've got their fanboy cap on rather than their journalist cap on.
Oh, it didn't bother you when they were going 12-4.
Well, there was nothing to talk about. There was only one answer. They're great, and if you don't write that, you're an idiot.
Stomach bug or something.
Yeah.
You have to leave it. Yeah, I don't know. Fishy.
The math ain't mathin'.
Well, and that's yeah. Now I noticed something about Paul. When he's on one of his shows, he's a different Paul. He's more cool.
Cool Paul.
Yeah, he's more like After Dark Paul.
Alex, am I cool?
You know,
You're so cool.
and if you
Thanks.
really listen closely, he sounds like Dan Shaughnessy.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to
We'll have the show screech to a halt again.
Mike.
Oh, hi, Mike.
Hi, guys. Just trying to grind the show to a halt, you know.
Excuse me.
Oh, wow. Freddie, this is us.
I had Italian with hot.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome into Patriots Unfiltered, folks, and happy 328 to those who celebrate. As you can see, a little T-shirt over my right side, and we're excited here to have. Where's Fred?
So, Mike, how did you come about getting one of those T-shirts?
Oh, it's a long story that we don't have time for now. No, yeah, made one.
So why are you in the host chair?
Well, I guess Fred is out. We weren't sure. We heard rumors that he might be out, and then
I
we're
did
not sure
not hear
exactly
these
where he
rumors,
is.
but I'm told that he alluded to this a little bit earlier in the week.
Usually he's very
T says that
forthcoming.
he sort of,
In
let
the
us know.
abyss. In the abyss.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are we gonna do?
I hope he's okay.
You know what that means, Paul? Since Fred's not here, we can't talk draft today. Like, we're not going to be able to talk about any of the
What are we
prospects.
gonna do?
We're just going to have to make out some BS and talk
With the
about
Greg
movies.
Cosell reports on Drake May 2 positive, so we can't talk to that anymore.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Well, I called in. I was in Florida at the owners' meetings, and I heard you kind of opining on how it feels like we've been doing the same shows since November.
Yeah.
And I think we're all a little bit burned out on Drake May and Jaden Daniels and now J.J.
So
McCarthy.
Daddy's
and
away.
Trade down.
So I'm going to call myself a kid for all intents and
So
purposes.
Deuce and the Kid
today.
Show.
No, it's
So,
PP and the
so we
Deuce.
will, PP and the Deuce will have some fun today.
Well, that's what I said initially when I said to Alex it was going to be PP and the Deuce, and she's like, "I need a poop name," and we couldn't think of one off Alexandra Francis. What's your middle name?
My middle name is. It's just my mom's maiden name. It's Barbosa, or not my. Yeah, that's my mom's maiden name.
No, there's nothing there. Tease,
Yeah.
and then Tease joins, and
Tease.
no,
Back
you got
again.
nothing either. So I guess
Listeners, if you can think of.
Alexandump.
A little harsh.
Poop
I like
name.
it.
I'm going to crowdsource the listeners on
Oh,
this
and
one.
we're off to a roaring start. But hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go do a show without Fred. So yeah, so we're down
back to the draft.
Well, I guess we should touch briefly because our friend Evan is he was down yesterday watching Jaden Daniels at LSU.
Observing his big elbow.
Observing that weird elbow
that
tweet.
had to be
That can't
like
be.
some kind of
No.
AI or
No, they had the doctors on Twitter. It's like some bursitis thing. I don't know.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look right.
I
Yeah, it's
saw
gross.
I saw
Bursitis?
other people opining that it was like a something with the photography. The way
Right,
we
it caught a
it.
frame
Yeah.
with,
Trick
with
photography.
his lower arm.
Well,
and
it's
then
like
his
you ever see
forearm.
like when hockey players were watching a hockey game in the background. Sometimes
yeah.
when they shoot, like the stick is almost like at a 90-degree angle. It's not really.
it's
just
a shutter speed.
Yeah, yeah.
I always see
Yeah,
those shots.
Alex
of the
knows a
hockey.
little something about everything.
I wonder why I could never get the stick to bend like that. It looks. I think the sticks these days they're like all $200, but they all have like that major flex, and I just
They're a little flex
maybe
in
I
the
just
twig.
wasn't strong enough. Yeah, back in the days of like the Christian Brothers sticks. This is gonna grind the show to a halt
Christian
right now.
Brothers. I got
I mean, well, that was like I always complain
with you.
about. You would buy one stick at the start of the year, and that Christian Brothers stick would last you the whole season for $25. And now, when I like ref and you see one of these kids with this like composite stick that weighs like a feather an ounce and can bend almost in half without breaking, but then they smash in like the most random points, and then you look up in the stands and the kid's dad is like pulling out his wallet, getting ready, like,
that happens at lacrosse too.
oh, great, yeah.
And the head comes off, and
a mess.
You hear an F-bomb in the stands. I'm like, sorry about that, Craig.
Expensive sports. But yeah, so we are closing in on the draft, so I think we'll all be relieved, and that's my favorite part of the draft is the day after the draft when you say, "Here's your 10 guys, congratulations."
And you don't need to see a mock for another.
You don't need to hear,
8
and
months.
you just get to listen to everybody complain about what they did or didn't do. But once you can finally lock in on those guys, but I think by this point you're kind of pulling your hair out.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely different because they're picking third, and that's much higher than they've ever done since we've been covering it, and I think that makes it a whole different animal. But yeah, it's monotonous. The mock draft season to me is by far and away the worst part of the job. I don't read them. I don't write them. I don't look at them. I don't care about them. You can put them away.
You have to mute the phrase mock draft on Twitter.
Yeah.
You guys ever do that?
Or mock draft SZN. Season. That's what kids say, Paul. Translate that.
No, I got it. SZA.
No, it's. I mean, I do enjoy the draft, but I find like even the pundits are getting bored with them because then they just start throwing things against the wall, and they're like, I don't know.
Look at,
I can't
the
do
last 2 weeks, and I know we didn't want to really get into.
And here we are.
But like the last 2 weeks, you see all these different, so now we're not even going to do mock drafts with the Patriots picking third. We're just going to do 11 and 23. Like,
yeah,
what are we doing?
Well, that was the big twist. Minnesota all of a sudden they have 2 picks, and now it's like, hey, this will make sense, and you can.
And I'm not saying they won't trade. They might, but we have to do mock drafts with them at 3. We have to do them with them at 6. We have to do them with 11 and 23. Like.
I'm going to do the 7th round mock, and then I'm also going to do
7th round mock that includes every player that Paul knows.
Right, as well as projecting the undrafted free agents that they're going to sign as well. So, really trying to...
Jeff Thomas coming
covering Jeff Daniels. Wasn't Daniels Jeff Daniels?
Yes,
right.
You are correct.
Shout out, Fred.
My mistake for calling him by his actual name.
I will say, though, watching some of the footage yesterday from LSU, Malik Neighbors, He's awesome, man. I like as much as I've seen plenty of Marvin Harrison Jr. by this point, and he's great, but there's just something I think with the Patriots having watched what we've watched for so long. Not to say that Marvin Harrison wouldn't come in and be like amazing, but there's just that like explosive element of Neighbors' game that would just instantly transform the Patriots offense, and I really doubt that they're going to pick him or really have him targeted, unfortunately, but. It's just one guy that every time I watch him, I think he's going to be a superstar in this league.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be one of those guys like Jamar Chase week 1. You're going to see like some crazy highlights, hits the ground running, and I mean, some prime AB in him, I feel like.
Yeah. Is it weird though, Paul, do you think like that Harrison didn't really do anything and Neighbors is doing stuff? Like, is that strange at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think Harrison, we talked about this when you guys were at the Combine, and I remember we were asking you guys when you guys dialed in with us, and I don't think necessarily Evan in particular understood what I was talking about, because he had said then his camp had put out there that he wasn't working out, not at the Combine, period. He's not doing a pro day workout. He's not doing any workouts. All he's doing is preparing to play, which I'm fine with. Same. Especially when you have that kind of talent. The workouts are there to bolster your draft stock. Obviously, his doesn't need any bolstering. You mentioned that Neighbors would be like Jamar Chase. Like, I look at Harrison like Larry Fitzgerald, and I think that's a great argument. Like, would you rather have sort of a steady, consistent, productive guy volume, or and if it's Jamar Chase, you're talking about a steady, consistent, big play guy.
Yep.
Run hitter. So I kind of lean to the Larry Fitzgerald, but Neighbors is pretty good.
It's also with Marvin Harrison. If you're going to let him slide, like, that's on you. Like, good luck with that. If you want to slide and you take somebody else, go for it. But good luck keeping your job if he balls out.
Yeah. I mean, I just wonder if teams, if it gives teams any pause. And, I just like to bring it to Mac. Like, I always really thought it was pretty cool how Mac won the national championship, went to the Senior Bowl. I mean, there was no combine that year, but then, he threw twice. Like, just fearlessness probably isn't the word, but like it just seemed like
it's not the word.
No, it's
he had
to do it. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. There's something that I respect about guys that just don't care and are like, yeah, I know I put it on film, but I'm just gonna stand in front of all you in shorts and t-shirts and remind you exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
goes back to the thing that I didn't like that Mayo said on Monday. Fred. Yesterday, Monday, whenever it was.
Tuesday.
But when he said, we're trying to do it the right way, there is no right way, and I don't think that what Harrison is doing is right or wrong, and I don't think what Mac Jones did is right. Like, I think everybody has individually what they want to do and what they think is best for them, and I don't think there's anything wrong with what Harrison's doing.
Yeah,
and I understand your point of view. Like, you respect the guys that say, I'm probably going to be a top 5 pick, but I'm going to work out anyway. But nothing wrong with that either.
That's what I'm doing anyway. And
is that what you did? Did you work out anyway?
my high school hockey pro
when
day,
you couldn't get the stick to
flex correctly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's just modern technology. It's helping the players in a way that it never helped me. I probably would have. I could have gone pro. I could have been all state, and I'd be sitting in the hot tub with my soulmate right now if it had all worked out. So unfortunately, guys, no phones today. So we're sorry we can't do that. As many are probably aware, this is an ongoing process that we're trying to get a new phone system here that's that I guess is hopefully going to be awesome. Like you're able to text us and all different kind of ways to call in. But for now, we're in between that stage, so unable to get calls. But you can certainly email us at webradio@patriots.com, and
looking for a good off-season topic that's not necessarily serious or related to football. If you guys want to send us down a ridiculous path, I'm
totally down because I'm
here for that.
We got the squad with Tease and Alex, so you might get some other answers that and of course we don't have Evan here because if Evan was here and we tried to do a non-football show,
he'd walk out.
He'd drop his phone and he would storm out.
There'd be a lot of harumphing.
This is not why I'm here. I need to break.
Did you
down
notice
prospects.
like Alex was all mad at me in the last show and she was yelling at me because I was being critical of Mayo, and she moved her seat. She's now 2 seats away.
That way she doesn't have to give you the side.
That was my
eye.
original seat. But then Evan kind of just co-opted it. So I was like, all right, he's usually on the show every day. Like, whatever, I'll let him have it. But
the assigned, unassigned seats.
I did feel like being back there. I don't know why I didn't sit there today.
We're going to streamline things.
That's she's on the hot corner now. It's the hot corner. And plus, you can stare directly at Paul and, stare daggers at him when he says something that you disagree with and pound the table. And I vehemently disagree. But so, yeah, what else are we going to get into? Strenuously object.
Is that how it works?
Is that how it works? So
were you absent the day they taught law in law school?
A little nerd thing. Paul probably make fun of me for this, but I'm going to put it out there.
That's for sure.
So I've been reading a book.
Well, I'm not going to make fun of you for that.
I've been reading The Packer Way.
I'm going to make fun of you for
that.
By Ron Wolf.
Was there a passage on get Brett Favre and follow it up with Aaron Rodgers?
Well, they haven't got to the Aaron Rodgers part per se.
Okay.
But I'm about halfway through it right now, and maybe in the second half. I got to pull it up on my phone because last night I was reading something that I've just found that the parallels between the team that Ron Wolf took over in the Packers in 1992, it's very similar to kind of what Elliott Wolf has experienced here in that he was brought in. I think they fired the GM at the time in November of the season. And they hired Ron Wolf, and we had a couple months to watch, how things were kind of evolving, which is similar. Elliott Wolf's been here for a couple of years, but came into a 4-win team, similar, and basically this book, and a lot of it, Paul, which I probably would make fun of with you, is a lot of like management speak, like corporate, like you've got to identify the problem, that kind of stuff. But I really enjoy the actual football parts. You're right about Brett Favre, which he, says this is a guy I loved. Talked about when he was with the Jets, wanted to take him. They were ready to take him. But unfortunately, I guess it was the Falcons came in and swooped in and took him. Then when he came into the job, immediately targeted Brett Favre. But the passage that maybe I can almost pull it up right here because it was actually just struck me. He said it was a 4-win team, and but let's see, here we go. Yeah, let me just bear with me for one moment. I did. Well, I took a picture of it because I thought it was apt. I didn't even realize I'd be hosting today. But this is non-trade talk. So I'm just going to read a bit here, and he calls it the stepping stone approach, which is one of the things that I'm kind of like, come on. But I visualized the stepping stone approach to building a winning roster this way. We needed to establish a solid foundation of veteran players by keeping the best athletes from the 1991 team who were willing to accept Mike Holmgren's coaching style. These guys didn't necessarily have to be stars because the team didn't have many standouts, but they did have to be good enough to give us a chance to compete. We would use trades and the free agency options to fill in the most glaring holes with other veterans, and at the same time, and this was the most essential element, we wanted to use the draft to pick potential stars who could be groomed in Mike's system and who eventually would become much better than the starters we currently had by the time the youngster on the roster. And then one more little bit that I thought was kind of apt. I knew if we lost our patience too quickly with everyone from the bad 1991 team, we would botch the stepping stone philosophy. We had to buy time by improving our veteran players to a point where they could win enough games for us to show progress. Whether you're rebuilding or revitalizing or just trying to make a good situation better, it's important to never lose sight of maintaining continuity. So I read that last night and I felt, and look, I get it. People are upset. They heard the phrase money to burn and they wanted big free agency period. But just as I've been kind of reading this book and the similarities of the situation, it's just, kind of informed a little bit about how Elliot Wolf might be kind of following his dad's book a little bit. And maybe that's kind of the philosophy that they're approaching. And, the big thing with people are, oh, I thought Bill couldn't draft. And, I don't think anybody's arguing that, Michael Onwenu or, Josh Uche or, the guys that they did retain are, necessarily superstars. But it just kind of spoke to me that they do have to maintain some continuity. They do have to have some kind of a baseline. They couldn't just completely rebuild the whole team from scratch in free agency. So.
Yeah. I mean, I've said this, I think, on Tuesday and in the past. I think that there was a definite element of wanting to, if you're going to try to start something new and make some changes, implement a new regime, I think you want to have some buy-in. And I think that's why you want to hold on to some guys that you're familiar with. And I think that what Gerard Mayo and Elliot Wolf probably hope is that guys like Onwenu and Hunter Henry and those kinds of guys can get in the locker room, maybe Anthony Jennings being one of the only other guys with 3 years, establish some kind of a culture of how they want to operate. And, yeah, they're not great players, but they're solid players. It's not like they were busts. So they're solid NFL players who have established at least a level of ability, and then you go from there. Just listening to you talk about that, though, so you have the stepping stone philosophy, and you do all those things. I wonder if Elliot Wolf gave much thought to Justin Fields. Because Justin Fields, and I'm not suggesting that Justin Fields is going to turn into Brett Favre, but this is like a quarterback from somebody else.
Established.
Who wasn't really getting the job done. Favre was in Atlanta. He wasn't really playing. He was kind of wild. And there was different reasons why. Obviously Fields has gotten more than his opportunity to play. Favre really didn't in Atlanta. But at the same time, he's talking about bringing guys in, and I wonder if he gave much thought of, we could do something like we did and maybe catch lightning in a bottle. Because there's no way when they acquired Brett Favre that they thought that that's what they were acquiring.
Yeah. Well, according to him, it was. No, as you might have expected. But, I mean,
Glanville was, in Atlanta at the time, and he was really, really upset.
Yeah.
That they traded Favre.
Yeah, I mean, he went into that a little bit. I mean, I'm kind of at the point now where he's had his first year. He brought in Favre. Favre got, a lot of people didn't want Don Majkowski out. Yeah. Similar almost to what happened with Bill. But I think the thing that kind of stood out to me, and he talked a lot about how he was just kind of enamored of Favre, even when he was with the Jets. He went to Tampa Bay, had a terrible time, didn't think he was going to get another chance, and then when he went, to Green Bay, he really wanted Favre. But all this talk about the quarterbacks and Daniels or May or McCarthy or all that stuff. The thing I thought was interesting that made me kind of reflect upon some of the analysis was how he just said Favre was, it sounds cliche, but was just a winner. And he always seemed to raise the level of his team, no matter who he was kind of playing with or what the situation was. Guys just seemed to want to play for him. And if he got into the right situation and got the right chance, he really believed that would really carry him. And I almost find myself revisiting a little bit, even with Daniels in his first year at Arizona State, which I know he had, really successful first year there with not a great team. I kind of look at these quarterbacks a little bit through that lens because, we talk so much about some guys are just in ideal situations, right? Especially the top-ranked quarterbacks. They've been at LSU. They're thrown into 2 superstar first-round wide receivers. Mac being another example of that. But, how can you find those guys that no matter who they kind of played with? I mean, look at Brady. It was Brady, right? Like, even when Brady had, 2013, didn't have the best, they always played better than what they were. And that's why I also just reflect upon Mac's time here where they didn't give him any help. They didn't give him any weapons. the great ones, I think, would show you a little bit more even when they don't have.
And that's always been my point. Yeah, I think a lot of things can be true at the same time. Yeah, I don't think they did a great job of supporting Mac Jones. I think that is true. But at the same time, that's not the reason why, the sole reason why he's not successful.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes for him down. Maybe I'm going to keep going on the book, though. We'll see what happens next. But one last bit on
Not today, just
no. Just one more bit on it, though. It's just kind of funny to me is that I think in total, Ron Wolf was in Green Bay for 10 years total, and wrote like this whole book on success. And then I'm like thinking, cripes, the Patriots did it for like 20 years. I mean, it just kind of looks.
That's why we had a docuseries.
I know. I don't want to call it insignificant because certainly the success that the Packers had, and he mentions too a lot of when this Packer Wake thing came up, a common refrain from the fans was like, yeah, you got one Super Bowl out of it, and he was very disappointed in that and felt like they should have gotten more. But it's just kind of funny when you think about the success that they had, and at the time when they wrote the book in the late 90s, it was so like we're the model franchise. We saved Green Bay. And here we are in New England, where it's like, oh yeah, 20 years, like no big deal. Yeah. Like it's you can't even fathom how much success the Patriots had over 2 decades.
We have our own date.
Crazy.
We have our own date.
3/28. There it is.
Is that a state holiday?
Should be.
I think it should be. Certainly. I actually, can I tell a quick? I don't know if I told a story. I got a quick 328 story, which is just kind of random. And, the T-shirt thing is fine.
Stories.
No, the T-shirt thing is good.
328 lore.
But I actually didn't even realize it until after the whole T-shirt thing happened, was that not only was my grandparents' mailbox down in Dennis 328, but my grandfather died on 328 too. And so then this whole like 328
Just what
T-shirt.
A wonderfully uplifting story, Mike. Thanks for sharing.
But then this whole then this whole T-shirt thing happens, and my mom was like, well, Bumpy died on March 28th, and I was like, and you're talking about it being a holiday, and I'm like, holy crap, like this is like, definitely a significant day in my life. It's a positive one now, but it's just weird that was their mailbox, and that was also the day. Anyway,
it was destiny.
I digress. But we do have some emails coming in here, and I'm hoping
please save us
that some are off. So here's one from Zach. He says, hey guys, Zach from Concord, North Carolina. Since you guys are in the mood for non-football conversation today, how about we briefly discuss some Major League Baseball opening day? No.
Sorry.
I will say, though, Red Sox tickets very affordable, and
is that what he wants?
They should be.
He wants to touch on the Red Sox. Is that what he said?
Yeah, we said. What are some of your early predictions for the season? Red Sox season expectations, NL and AL MVP, NL and AL Cy Young division. I mean, Zach thinks. I mean, you guys know. I know. I ain't got nothing for you.
I don't have much on predictions because I don't follow the league as closely as I did, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Red Sox. And back to our conversation from Tuesday about how, like, you put your positive how many different people over the last 3 days about the Red Sox? A lot more talent here this year than they were. They had a good spring. They're going to surprise some people. I'm like, what are we basing this on? It's like the same stuff that I heard this time last year and the year before when they finished in last both times. Like, I just feel like these guys, they're all in the bag.
Yeah,
I do. I think there's so much, like, they just want to will it into existence. No one wants to cover a last-place team. And they're just like,
watch it either.
Yeah. They're going to be better this year. You should watch. And what did you say about the affordability of the tickets?
I mean, it's
evidently
good
no one's
seats are
watching.
available.
I'll be there on a summer day, maybe. Couple Bud Lights.
But yes, you're there
That's
for a
it?
whole different reason.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You too. You'll be there for the social scene.
Not even. I can't even tell you. I mean, when I left Nesson, I took like a break, like a step back from baseball. And I can't tell, like, I went with Cardona because he threw out the first pitch on Patriots Day last year. And Ohtani happened to be actually pitching. So I was like, cool. I stayed for 3 innings, and I was like,
did he throw it or did he like snap it between his legs? That would look weird.
You should throw the first pitch.
You should.
The Unfiltered crew throws the first pitch.
No, he had a good first pitch. He had a decent first pitch. But it was just like, there's just no, they need to do something for excitement. I mean, Devers is on the team. Who else? Like, who?
They need to acquire
who did
some.
they add?
I have some
Bobby something?
reasonable expectations of some young guys, but not to the point where it's going to impact the major league roster in terms of wins right now. Like, I like Brian Bale. I like watching him pitch, but that's like a middle of the rotation starter to me.
Really?
And he's got the ball tonight.
But you like the new. But you slightly like how they sped things up though, right? Did that
The
help your
pitch clock
enjoyment
and
of the game
everything?
a little
Oh
bit?
yeah,
Paul?
yeah. No, you can watch a game now, whereas like 3 years ago the game was unwatchable.
You know who I like, and I'm going to just throw out the one baseball player right now, is the kid from LSU,
Kyle
Paul Skeens. Am I saying his name right? I don't know if anybody knows, but he was at LSU last year, and I think he's dating Livy Dunn.
Yeah.
He rizzed up Livy Dunn,
Oh
as
my
my
God,
son, as my
Matisse.
son likes to say.
how's the Riz level there?
He's Rizzy Longstocking.
pretty rizzed up. But he's I enjoyed watching him last year in the NCAA's, and I think with Pirates, he throws some fire. But anyway, I feel like we kind of have to respond to this one. Sam from St. Catharines, and he said, is the constant phone issue another example of the crafts being cheap? Sounds like they haven't invested in the world's original podcast since it was invented. Would be interested to see if the PU crew did report cards similar to NFLPA. How would the Patriots stack up?
A+.
Does Paul feel they stock enough Diet Pepsi for him? Does Evan get
Yes.
his all 22 fast enough and in high quality? Does Fred think his press box spread is up to snuff? Need these answers more.
That's a tough one.
Well, no,
I
but
love
let's-
this report card idea for us.
All right, well, first let me just say, like Matt just got a whole new board, which is probably part of the phone problem. We're getting a whole new phone system. That is in the process.
We're in
The
the
whole
process
studio
of-
is about to
there's
get
some
completely
construction
Yeah, I was going to
going
say,
on.
can we
Yes.
tease the studio? Have we done that
Yeah,
yet?
the studio's getting completely remade, so there'll be at some point you'll probably
Which
get
I'm
some-
probably the only
some-
one that's upset about that.
Yeah, well, I think there might be couches, so that might be more exciting.
Yeah,
but
I'm not really into that.
It's going to be like a recliner. We'll just be chilling. But in
I'm
regards
still,
to
I'm still mad about the cameras, so you can imagine how I'm doing with changing the studio.
no, so
Why? It's so good for your brand.
no.
It's not good for my brand.
It's good for your brand.
Paul's a rising
When
TikTok star.
We put you on the TikTok,
Visual
and
sar- Visual sarcasm, not good for Paul's brand.
all of Paul's son's friends were commenting. It was great for engagement because they were all like, Mr. P, Mr. Perillo, oh my
P,
God,
Mr. P.
Mr. Perillo's goated. No. It was great for your brand. I still have to show you the comment section.
Mr. P's the Rizzler.
Oh, my Riz
they're
level
rizzing
was
up.
up.
They're rizzing up Paul P.
My fit was tight. The drip, I did. The Riz level was very high.
Colin Mayo said, "Please God, never say Riz again." In the comments, fine, Colin, we won't. We're just, we're trying to connect with the kids. But
Like Alex is teaching us a whole new vernacular. Why can't we just go with it?
oh, that's my kid.
No,
my
absolutely.
kid. Oh, he's got something called Skibbity Toilet too, which I don't know exactly
Oh,
what
I-
that
see,
is.
that I don't know.
No.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
he's 12 in middle school, so it's like
All the other stuff I kind of do just to irritate my kids. Like I would say a sentence like the one I just said, and they would just go, "Don't, like don't."
Or like when you rap J.
Stop.
Cole.
when did
They actually like that.
when did Crocs and socks become a thing?
Beth and I do a duet
Never.
to that.
So
Never did.
when I was in high school, my senior, I don't know if I've ever told this story. I'm convinced that me and my friends brought Crocs back because I had a friend on my soccer team. This is back 2013, my senior year of high school, and my friend Jocelyn just showed up to preseason one year with orange Crocs, and we just ruthlessly chirped her
Poor
all the
Jocelyn.
time.
Where's
Thought
Jocelyn now?
She's an engineer.
home?
She's doing amazing.
She's in a home now, right?
Long story short,
got a lot of issues.
we were like, how funny would it be if we all got Team Crocs and we traded like the bands and then we just showed up to our away games like with Crocs.
Sure.
And it was the best soccer shoe to like take
There's
your
level
cleats
high
off,
there.
throw those
High
on.
is-
Ever since we started doing it, they've had this, I'll call it a meteoric rise. But
Team building.
I'm just saying, over the last 10 years,
The team that Crocs
Crocs
together.
are kind of in.
Should we get some for the guys down the hall?
I think so.
They are. Well, Neil upstairs,
get
he's
gibbets.
a Crocs and socks
Yeah.
guys. He's not afraid to rock the Crocs and socks, but I've never owned Crocs, and I'm gonna guess you
So
ain't
how
never
about
owned Crocs and socks.
I can't stand Crocs, but I
love
wear
my
a lot of
Crocs.
slides.
I really do.
So-
Okay,
socks
now
Nike slides with mid calves.
I can't do it. I can't
No, the
do
best
it.
slides
That's,
were the
that's
old
where I was
Adidas
going. You knew
ones.
where I was going.
The old Adidas slides that had like
Yep.
the punchy little
yeah.
things
It's
that
good for
hurt
circulation.
your
Oh,
feet
yeah, you
They
don't
were
so
want-
bad.
they're supposed to massage you, but they really
But
hurt
they
your
hurt.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't
The little
wearable
studs,
until
yeah.
you picked them all off.
Yeah,
But
I have
those are
like
great.
smooth ones, but the socks with slides I just don't get.
No, I
The only time I ever did that was baseball. I would, my Riz level was high in baseball too, so I would show up when I was pitching with slides on, and I had.
Did
my,
you wear like
my baseball
stirrups and
size.
stuff? And
Yeah.
you went.
Oh, you gotta have the look.
Oh, it was
right?
the uniform.
Play good.
Yeah.
Look good.
Now
play
sometimes you just had like a sock that was like a
Bloody sock.
that was that
Oh.
color.
Yeah.
Like we had in the park league, we had green and yellow uniforms, and I had green socks that were just like baseball socks, but they weren't stirrups. But normally I just wore the stirrups.
Yeah, classic, right?
Yeah.
Classic clean look.
And when I first started, like in the mid '80s, when I got to college, it was high stirrups.
Yeah. With, like the big hat
Then
too.
then the pants came down and the sock came down. As by the time I was done.
So anyway,
the whole Riz level changed.
But anyway,
The fit was tight.
Just to put a button on
Not
the studio
gonna
thing,
lie.
it's like we're sorry
No
for
cap,
the
sorry.
We're sorry for the technical issues, but there are changes coming, and it's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty sweet, pretty sweet in here. And
It's endearing right now.
no,
We're
Nathan.
just throwing it together.
Nathan from Northern Ireland said Crocs should not be allowed. They are the most shocking looking thing ever, and men should definitely not wear them. I don't own them, but I mean, when I go to pick a middle school kid up,
Elite gardening shoe, elite sports shoe, elite boat shoe.
And you put them in speed mode.
Yes.
That's exact. But you go pick your kid up in middle school, it is Crocs and socks across the board, and they've all got that like big mush haircut with the front, like all kinds of. I mean, I've heard about kids
I've
getting
been hit
perm.
on
Everybody
in
has
Crocs. I've literally been hit on in Crocs. So
Wow.
you can't tell me that it's
like because
that
they
deterring.
they're like, hey Crocs, like or like that was the
A man, I remember this. I was in Cape Cod, and a man was just like walking by. Was trying to go out on the boat, and I was like, "Those Crocs are sick." And then like he just like was just talking about my sty and how cool I looked. I was literally wearing like an old soccer T-shirt and bright purple Crocs with a turquoise strap.
See, I actually give credit for actually in person, like taking a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's old school. Now people hide behind their phones. Like you don't have to
Absolutely.
call. You don't have to get a number and call somebody
Just
out of the blue and
swipe
like,
on an app.
"Hi, remember me from the bar the other night? Would you like to have dinner?" Sometimes, like, if
They'll
you haven't
never-
made that call, like that makes
Mike,
you.
they'll never know.
No, that's. I mean, having to walk up to someone.
I'm
Now
gonna
you just
call,
get those
not-
digits and text them.
Think about all the different obstacles that you had. Like, I'm going to make this call. The mother or father could answer, which is going to make me
Yep.
want to poop myself.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Leave a
Then,
message.
then you actually is Jody there? May or may not.
Who's asking?
May or may not be a fictional name. Is Jody there?
Paul from the bar the other night.
Hold on. So now you're thinking to yourself, hold on. So that means whoever answered the phone, maybe her sister, Lorianne, in this case, is checking with Jody. There's a Paul on the phone. Do you want to talk to him? So if you come back and you get, nah, sorry, she's not home, you know what that meant. She was right there. You just checked. She said no. She didn't want to. Now it's devastation, as opposed to, well, I just snapped her up.
Yeah, right. And they.
Yeah, all right, whatever. No big deal. You cast a wide net. Not going to catch everything.
No.
And then if you're lucky enough to get through, you're limited on the phone because you have one landline, and it's like
Right.
I have. Okay,
Facts.
so my cousin Jen, this is a hilarious story. My aunt and uncle changed their phone number and didn't tell her what the phone number was. Like my cousin Jen,
She hot?
beautiful girl, beautiful girl.
Nailed it.
She was constantly on the phone with her friends. Guys always calling the house. She was in high school. They straight up, God bless Victor and Fatima, they changed the phone number and they didn't give it to their teenage
That's
daughter.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's even I wouldn't do that.
Back when you could do that.
I lived to torture my two kids. Even I wouldn't do that.
It's too many options. It's too easy now. Like, and that's why people have like rosters. And you were just like, I had one girl I called that was, like a huge event. Like, you can't have like 6 different people that you're texting.
How
all the
about when you
time.
get a little older, Mike, and you start to meet people when you go out and whatever, and maybe maybe you get the digits.
Yeah.
Right? Is it the right number? Did you ever get a fake
No.
number? Did you ever give a fake number?
I've given
No.
fake numbers.
I've given.
Nobody's asking.
I've given fake.
I've given friends numbers as jokes too.
That's tough.
Absolutely, I've done that.
People are getting mad at us for not talking football, so we will talk a little football.
Wow, it didn't take long, huh?
We dabbled there for
Half
about 15
hour.
It's like
They're
we're
already
damned
mad
if
at
we're
us.
due, damned if we don't.
Right,
You guys are sick
right.
of the draft talk.
Yeah.
Now you want it, whatever.
Just do it. Go
we'll
watch-
give the people what they want.
Yeah, go watch
Sorry.
Patriots Draft Countdown, which we just put out another episode yesterday.
Trials
It
and
features-
tribulations of mid-'80s
Yeah.
dating.
Or
I
just
know.
like
hitting home.
refresh Evan's Twitter
Not
if
hitting
you're
home.
looking for that.
Yeah, we'll dance back and forth a little bit, but I thought this was from Dan in VA in Michigan. How does Fred say it? Dan in Virginia via Michigan, or Dan?
It's Michigan via Virginia. I
Something
think.
like that. But I thought this was a pretty good discussion because my boy Jabril Peppers was kind of very vocal after the rule changes. On Tuesday, there was a brief discussion about the hip tackle change, with the concern expressed on the show that the NFL is headed toward flag football. That concern is fair enough, but how should the safety concerns in football be balanced against the nature of the game? Do we just accept that there's an element of risk? But if so, how much risk would you be comfortable facing or your children facing? I don't have an answer, generally wondering how all of you would thread that needle. I mean, I think that's That's a great question. I don't think anybody wants to watch flag football. We love the physicality of the game. I love how Jabril Peppers plays. I don't want to see him have to tone it down. So I hear this email. It's a good question.
Yeah, I think it's easy. I mean, I think you do what you can to take the head out of it.
Yep.
And you don't want, leading with the helmet shots, and I think they've done a pretty good job of that. Incidental helmet contact is different. But legislating, high ankle sprains out of the game, to me, is an impossible task.
Well, when you wipe out the head, you're opening up the lower body, so something's got to give.
And all of these players, when you talk to the players themselves, and this is why, how do you thread the needle, Dan? You talk to players, and you see what they would rather have. And to a man, they would tell you they'd rather be hit up high than down low.
100%.
And I just feel like this tackle in particular, I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm going to reserve judgment to see how it's officiated, how it's legislated. Great word, Mike. But I think it's I've seen the videos, and I'm watching videos, and I'm like, well, that's not the same as that.
Yeah.
I mean, these videos are put together supposedly trying to show us all of these illegal tackles.
Yeah.
They don't all look the same.
I think it was it might have been Boston Cream yesterday posted a highlight of Keon White. Like, can't wait to see Keon White. And it was, I think, against the Dolphins. And it was like, hip drop, there it is. Like, he grabs one of the Dolphins guys, force him wide. And, remember we started doing it during the season, Paul? We'd be watching the games, and I'd be like, hip drop. Like, it happens a lot.
And then you get the plays that happen, that injuries happen. Like, Ramondre Stevenson against the Chargers.
So
and to a man, all the Patriots players were like, no, you can't. I think David Andrews was like, you can't take that out of the game.
Yeah, it's just
how are they
going
to make a tackle? It's an unfortunate incident. The guy got hurt on a tackle. But, again, threading the needle, like the chop blocks.
There you go.
So when you're engaged with a guy up top, you can't have another guy come in and hit a guy in the knees or below the waist. That's a chop block. Because the guy has no ability to protect his knees. Yeah. That I get. Take that out. Mm-hmm. It's not the same as a cut block. Like, you can block a guy one-on-one low without it being illegal, because the guy sees what's going on. He has a chance to avoid the hit.
Yeah.
Or, sort of cushion the blow or whatever. It's the double teams where, a guy's getting, someone's diving on his legs and whatnot. Take that stuff out. I just think there's an element of injury that happens in the NFL that
in all sports.
they're
inevitable.
You can't avoid it. I mean, what do you do in hockey? Do you just take the boards out of the game so no one can get smashed into the boards? Wow, Trent Frederick got the bag beat out of him in that fight. Huh?
Yeah, he got stitched up
last night,
and he came back too.
No, but I mentioned it on Tuesday. There was a play with Josh Allen against the Steelers. He scrambled. Like, players just don't want to hit him. Like, at what point are we just going to let them score? Like, you're going to get fined.
Yeah, I think there's a difference on that play of not wanting to get hit and not being able to tackle him. I think there's a difference.
Have you seen the play?
Yeah, I've seen it a million times. It's not Kenny Pickett in college.
Oh, that was different.
Kenny Pickett in college, the guy, Brian Urlacher against the Patriots with Brady, clearly didn't want to hit Brady in the open field when he made that fake, and he got burned. Like, that happens every once in a while. I don't think you can legislate that stuff out of the game. Like, guys are going to get hit. They're going to get hurt.
And the calls are just going to be so arbitrary. It's like we're in the place right now where we're like, what is a catch? Now we're going to be like, what is a tackle?
Yeah. Well, it's I was kind of reminded of the penalty shot call that you have to make in at least the USA hockey rules where, it's like be on the blue line, hit from clearly in front of the play. I should probably be able to rattle these off. I am a level 4 referee. I think the pressure of the show is on me.
I hope no parents are listening.
You're doing like a little checklist. And
I knew that guy didn't know what he was doing.
Well, yep, they're going to use this against you.
I would say in my defense, I know what a penalty shot is.
I know what I see.
I know you know what it is.
It's like porn.
But they have to define it, and these are what the officials have. They have all these like different checklists that you have to see, and it's
like lawyer speak almost.
Right, and that have to be made in a split second. And so many of the examples that I see are the examples that we were talking about when we were down in Orlando, which is, the guy's a little bit out of your reach, and he's coming diagonally across your face, and you can't really get in front of him. You have to kind of reach out and grab him. What do you do? It's just it's really hard. And I mean, I'll be curious to see I think probably in preseason, this is how it usually works. Preseason, there'll be a bunch of them, and then everyone will complain, and then they'll ramp it back a little bit. But
That's what
I'm interested
that's what
to
I'm
see.
expecting.
I'm interested to see like the fines rack up. Like
Yeah.
people are going to be on Twitter. Oh, this team has paid this much money each week in fines between all their players.
I'm also interested to see if it starts like how taunting did when they enforced it that one year, and it was just flags every other play.
Happens a
Like
lot,
it's
right?
just like you gotta find a consistent base to it. So.
Yeah. Good email here from our from one of our best callers, I think, Floyd in Michigan. Always brings it on the phone. Today is
Mr. Floyd
writing in, but I'm very much on the same page with Floyd, although I know some people aren't. Good afternoon. Can so many please stop with the Patriots aren't ready to draft a QB? Bad teams pick QBs at the top of the draft all of the time. Did anyone question the rosters of the Jaguars, Bengals, or Panthers before they drafted their QBs? Please stop this narrative, draft and stash. I couldn't agree more with Floyd. I think what we would all agree what it just boils down to is if you just truly don't believe in the quarterback, then trade out of it. But I think Drake May.
This is my Tuesday. No, this is what I posted Tuesday morning, and I don't know when this became a thing. You can't draft a quarterback if you don't have a roster that can support it. I don't know when that became a thing. And people are all pointing to Carolina last year, like, see, that's what happened. Oh, so that's what happened. Like, there's no dysfunction there. There's no other problems going on. It's
Right.
all just because the roster wasn't good enough for Bryce Young.
Like all the teams that end up picking in the top 5
stink.
They stink.
For
and
the
it's
most
not just
part-
because they had everything was great except the quarterback, and then they're like, well, thank God everything's
Right.
great but the quarter. Like,
Right.
this is what happened.
We finished 4-13 because we had the best talent in the league, but just didn't have that quarterback. Now we can get him.
Like, and I have a descending order because I would first listen to the people that say they don't have a left tackle right now. I would first listen to that kind of argument of the offensive line is scary. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'll listen to that. I can't listen to the people that say they don't have the pass catchers to make it work. Like
I will
that to
only
me-
listen to the person that says, I don't want a quarterback because I don't think they're good enough.
Yep.
I'll listen to that person all day.
Well, that's when the argument it makes sense. Like,
Right.
yeah, no, you're not ready to draft a quarterback that's not going to help
Yeah,
move the
if
franchise
I
in the
don't
right
think
direction,
Jaden
sure.
Daniels is good enough,
Right.
I'm not taking him at 3. If I don't think Drake May or J.J. McCarthy or whoever else you want to plug in, don't take him. And I think that's a very logical argument. But to not take him because I think this guy's really going to be good,
But we're
but
not
we
good
don't.
enough.
We're not good enough to help him. Like, how do you get good enough to help him if
Yeah.
you don't have anything in place? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think Floyd is 1,000% right, and it is. That was the theme of my notes this week. Like, I don't know when that became a thing. I used a couple. Like the Cincinnati one is a perfect one. I mean, Cincinnati
he got
finds
killed.
itself at the number 1 overall pick with nothing on the roster, and he got hurt the first year, but he can play.
Would they go back and not take him because he got hurt that first year?
Right.
Like,
Again, back to the guy, and Alex, you may have been gone the other day when someone called in. Would you rather take Drake May at 3 and have him be a bust, or would you rather not take Drake May at 3 and have him turn out to be an All-Pro?
I would rather take the bus. Like, you have
Everybody
to.
has the same answer.
You have to-
Absolutely.
yeah. No, I've said it all. He's worth missing on. Like, if you miss on
You
him,
nailed it, Alex.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly right. Like if you pass up on a guy who turns out to be great, that's a killer. That hurts way more than passing up a guy who doesn't pan out. All that means is you're right back where you started, and you got to try again.
Yep.
But like if that kills you to not, I guess it's the same in terms of the long term, but I just think it feels so much worse to have that
Yeah,
chance to
you
get the guy.
can't shake it. Like, for the rest of that guy's career, and if he really proves
Yeah.
to be great
Bears and
beyond.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Well, that's
right,
what you bring up
exactly.
Fields. Would
We're
they not have
still
taken
talking
Fields?
about
Like,
that.
no
Exactly.
one faults the Bears for drafting Justin Fields, right? Like, they missed on him. It didn't
To
work
me,
out.
it's less about the Bears because the Bears took a quarterback. They just took the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's the other teams that didn't think Mahomes was worth taking. And I'm sure, like, I go back and look, but I'm sure there were teams between 2 and 10 or wherever Mahomes went that could have used a quarterback and said, no, I don't think he's going to be that good. I'm going to make the safe pick and take the defensive tackle 330-pound guy who stops the run, Mike, so we can control the line of scrimmage.
I do like controlling the line of
I
scrimmage.
know
so
you do.
far.
That's why I'm making fun of you with my control the line of scrimmage voice.
That was almost radio voice. That was more coach voice. But Nick from Omaha agrees with us. I personally think we need to take a quarterback. I agree with the crew. This year's QB class is stocked pretty well. we got to take the moment. I mean, come on. We only really have one shot. We cannot. Well, this is turning into an
Don't miss the chance to
Eminem
blow.
song. We cannot miss this chance. The opportunity only comes once in a lifetime.
Yeah,
He did. I didn't realize it
I
initially
saw where
when
he
I
was
was
going with that.
reading, but I'm sure Matt Morell is head bopping back there somewhere. That being said, if our guys, Wolf and Gang, don't like a quarterback, are there any players you'd want to take instead, or would you rather trade down with the first pick? Personally, I'll take Alt, but wanted to know your opinion. And then a follow-up with Paul. Why is The Bronx Tale not a good movie? Do you want to tackle that one first?
Who's this?
Paul, Nick from Omaha.
Nick from Omaha. I think The Bronx Tale is a very good movie. I didn't like the ending.
Oh.
Didn't love the ending.
All right. Yeah, I think Joe Alt. I mean,
I'm sure I ever talked about that on the radio, so I think
Maybe
that
some
might
inside
be.
info.
I think that's an
That was
inside
a
job
planted
right
call.
You sure? You've done a lot of shows, Paul. You might have mentioned that in passing at some point.
I like A Bronx Tale.
Like if you loved
Now
it.
you can.
You'd take Joe Alt over one of the receivers.
I would trade down.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably trade down and try to get him, but that's the hard thing. I don't think you can thread that needle and trade
if you're-
down and get Alt. You're probably trading
Well, I don't
down
care
and
about
getting
alt.
like.
I just
you
want
know.
to trade down. Get
If
two,
you're not
two
yeah,
players.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like
Yeah.
if it's not Alt and it's Fashanu or Fashanau. I
Fesh-
think I did it.
Fashion.
Fashion.
Fosh.
I'm in on May over Jaden. I've officially decided.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you?
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Drake May. I just think the 8 and like I'm not saying he's old. Jaden Daniels, like 24, 25. Like
Yeah.
it took him a while to hit his stride in college. That just take May.
I'm with you. I still, you know, I think Daniels has got a lot to offer, but I just.
He gets himself killed.
Yeah,
in
May-
college, he got himself killed.
May's young. He's got all the tools. You know, that he's the guy for me.
At this point, I'm hoping Washington doesn't take May. That's
No,
how much
and
I'd rather.
that's and we're gonna know quick. That's the weird thing.
They're going to take J.J. McCarthy.
That would be amazing.
Does anyone believe that? Is it? I mean, is
What a
that,
glow up he's had in
It
the
is
last
literally
week.
it's Zach Wilson 2.0. Like even in the pro day, he's wearing the same type of outfit as Zach Wilson. It's the exact same throw.
Did he have the Ralph Macchio
Yeah.
thing on his head?
That's
too?
all he was missing. But he has the Gen Z poof hair.
yeah, the
thing.
broccoli cut. I think that's what they call it, the broccoli thing.
Is that what it's called? I don't think
Something,
I've
I
ever
heard somebody
that.
call it a broccoli.
But everybody
it does
has
look
the
like,
same
you know,
hair. That is absolutely fact.
you know, getting a perm up front.
That's a fact.
No, I that's why I kind of like if you had a quarter, like if you were that team that let's say you drafted the quarter, let's say we're Minnesota and we're gonna play a game here for a second. You're Minnesota. You have a young quarterback you drafted last year that you like. But you have the same holes as the Patriots have otherwise. Like what do they have? 11 and 22. Like I just think that's perfect. Get the tackle at 11 and get the receiver at 22, and you can hit really good guys. And then you got those two pieces. It's just the Patriots don't have the quarterback yet, so it's hard to say, you know, to really say that. And I think that's probably what people like Tommy Curran say. Get those pieces first. I mean, he's kind of in my mind the one who's leading that charge.
and I'm
of you
okay,
can't
and
take
I'm
the
okay
quarterback.
with that if you don't think the quarterbacks are any good. I'm not okay with it if I think they're pretty good, but they need so much more. I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me.
I just don't get how like the past 2 years it was Drake May and Caleb Williams and obviously JD Daniels came on the scene, but now it's like where does this hate come from? Like that May is not good enough because it was
North Carolina.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I
it's-
know, right? The whole state.
Well, and it's always kind of nitpicks, and I know Paul kind of jokingly, but I will bring it up, alluded to Greg Cosell, like, you know, listing out
that was
all
a
of
glow,
like his
but that was a glowing report from
glowing,
Greg
you know, and that's
Cosell.
and that's why
And I'm
it
not-
needs some time. Like,
But I'm not giving him any more credence than I am anybody else. Just because I happen to agree with him doesn't mean he's right.
Yeah. Matt in the booth writes in, Zoe and Beetle are convinced the Pats are playing on Christmas Day. Thoughts?
So
That feels very-
I'm glad he brought that up.
Is that one of the new games?
Wednesday. Christmas Day is Wednesday this
Wednesday.
year.
Does that mean you have a Thursday game before?
Wait, what did they say? I think so.
Right? That's the only way it would make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I don't put anything past that league. So you're telling me they're going to have a Thursday night game between the Jets and the Patriots, and then the following Wednesday they're going to play on Christmas Day? It won't be teams from Sunday? Because I think it could be teams from Sunday. I think they could
Brutal.
do that. They'd do anything.
Or maybe you get the bye the
Which
week
is
before.
why I think that I'm so, I get so upset about the hip drop stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so hypocritical.
Right.
They
There's-
don't care a
no.
lick about player safety. They don't. They don't pretend to. It's so transparent, and then they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Christmas Day, like, I don't know how you guys
What's
feel.
worse,
NBA's
Christmas
Day,
Day or
that's how I
Christmas
feel.
Eve for you, Paul?
Do you what? They're both great to me. Christmas Eve is better for
Yeah.
me. Well, never mind. I spend that with my family. But so NBA, you watch a
Yeah.
lot. Like, do you watch all of them, or like
They're
a
on.
lot?
They're certainly on.
It's 5 in a row, right? It's 5
Yeah.
games in a row starting at noon.
It's on all day.
Like, I'll watch the Celtics if they
Same.
play, but
I'll watch one or two other
yeah,
marquee
and I
games,
and I
too.
certainly won't watch like wire to wire, even the Celtics. But I don't have any interest in watching a football game on Christmas Day. I'm busy doing stuff with my family.
Right.
Like, I don't really understand. Like, I don't even watch the Thanksgiving games all that much. I usually watch like most of the Detroit game, but by the time that's over, we're eating. I'm not watching any of the Dallas game, and then at night, Paul ate too much, and I'm out.
Food coma.
You know,
Got to put the what do you call this thing? You have one of those snoring things. What do they call those?
That sleep apnea.
The CPAP. I know I don't have one of those.
My mom's a respiratory therapist. If you need one.
As a Jew, I love the games on Christmas. As I say,
right.
some
No
Chinese
food, no
Chinese
movies.
food.
Like, we were just going to get
a little
Chinese food in
football.
movies anyway.
Like, I can't.
What else am I going to do?
I mean, unless Zoe and Beetle are right and we end up playing in the game again,
why are they convinced?
I don't think it
Are
makes
they
any
just being
sense. Does it make any
pessimistic?
sense to you?
No, not after you
To have
play
a team that right now
I
has an
wouldn't
over-under
schedule
of-
us on Christmas.
A team that has an over-under of 4.5 wins is going to be playing on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But
Maybe if like we had like an exciting rookie quarterback and we played another team with an exciting young guy, I don't know.
if
It
that
just doesn't make sense
happens
to me
and,
either.
and I'm here, you know, and I have to, that would be the only way I would watch the game that plays on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Is if I'm here and I have to.
Me too. We could get each other presents. That would make it fun.
Would it be day or night game? Do we know
We
that?
call Tamara
All
and celebrate
day.
her birthday again.
Oh no, it would be Tamara's birthday too. So no one will be more upset than poor Tamara Brown. She's gonna work on her super holiday.
Birthday month.
Claire writes in, Lamarine, hi everyone. You guys do you. Love the non-football topics mixed with the football stuff. We do have draft what-if fatigue and need some giggles. Hopefully we provided some of those giggles. Football draft topic, if you want. I think you know where this one's going. Where do you think they should take a tight end? Surely it's still a good need. I mean, I think that's a day 3, but I think you've got some
What's our guy? Sinat?
some big guys. Ben Sinnott.
Sinnott.
Yeah, he's a hockey guy, so I
Multi-sport.
like him. But athletic, you know. So you got, you know, the two guys that, you know, they signed Austin Hooper.
These are day 3 guys.
There it is.
Yeah, Jared Wiley. I mean, you know,
Just
we
one of the
should use it as
6th round
copy.
picks.
yeah, I think that's probably it. But you never know. I mean, it's you know, Jatavian Sanders I think is the top guy, and maybe they see some value in that. But I wouldn't be opposed to just grabbing one of these big dudes like Jared Wiley from TCU, who's just, you know, 6'6", 260, and you know, is more of a third tackle kind of.
I wish they took Washington.
Yeah.
Was it Washington? He went to the Steelers.
Yeah.
That guy was a house.
He's just a weird, lengthy body type, you know. So yeah, Claire, I know you're looking out for those tight ends. I do think it's a need, but real quick, we did hear from Austin Hooper last week. I thought, you know, it was interesting. Everybody seems to love Alex Van Pelt. Like every guy that
He seems like a nice
talks
guy.
to him, everybody just is what a great guy he is. It's so fun to be around him. The stories that he shares from his time in the league and stuff. So, you know, it's a recurring topic anytime these guys come in. But, you know, just Hooper's experience across the different teams that he's played with. I think he's played in 6 offenses. They've really been searching for a second tight end for a while now, right? I mean, going back to even, you know, I guess you go back to when they had Bennett and Gronk. That was probably the last time they had, you know, 2 guys, and otherwise they've just been, you know, trying to find that second guy.
Well, they
Johnny,
have them,
it's
but
Gesicki. They
yeah,
never really are.
They
very,
have them, but
it never
like,
becomes.
They need to turn
2010,
over.
We had
2011
Hunter
again.
and Farrow last year. What are you
All right,
talking
Farrow.
about?
Phil
And
Brown with the
Gesicki.
Seahawks.
Like they had the guys. It's just I don't think that their offense is good enough to like take advantage of it.
Little listener on listener crime here from
I
Shane
love-
from
It's like every
Love
show
listening
now.
around.
Every
Shane
show.
from Springfield.
Love that.
Lobbing virtual bombs over the internet.
Shane, Alex, do you know Shane?
I don't
Shane
think I
from
know
Springfield.
Shane.
Springfield.
No, Shane. Do you like girls in Crocs? Only silver lining to
I
the
don't know why that sounded exceptionally creepy, but it did.
it's a God-given talent, Paul. I can say most things that make them sound creepy. Only silver lining to the phones being down is we can't hear another god-awful call from Christian in L.A. Man, that guy needs to touch grass.
That's my favorite insult these days.
touch grass,
Don't
mate.
touch
What does
grass.
that mean? Like come back to reality?
Get outside.
Get out of the
Yeah.
house.
outside,
Get
touch
out
the
of
grass.
Did I do it right?
Go away.
Does that
Yeah,
mean
get
like get out of
outside.
the house once in a while?
I
Touch
call-
the grass.
Okay.
I found this term. I can't quote it to anyone, but I love it. It's called chronically online.
This is another good
So
one.
that's
Shane
go touch
keeps
grass.
going. Shane ain't done. Shane ain't done.
Okay.
It also saves us another call from Big E, who thinks he's the Goodwill Hunting of truck drivers when it comes to the draft. Guy thought Quentin Johnston was the next Randy Moss last year and
He
killed
did.
Mike for not liking the vibes on Jamison Williams, who hasn't done anything in the last 2 years.
That's
Jameson
a
Williams is different. That's
Little
not.
bit.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
The Quentin Johnston one. That's accurate.
As much as he disliked Bill the GM, his own track record is getting just as bad. You can't. Well, BK Eldred's the best.
No,
Jameson
no
Williams
Eldritch
came into the
slander
league
allowed.
with a torn ACL.
No,
Eldritch slander allowed.
We love Eldred.
No, we got to be fair. We take everybody's open game. Everybody takes shots.
Right.
No
I
one
mean, we
says
get
no one
it.
says you can't make fun of Mike.
Right. I get it all the time.
Can't make
in the
fun of
comments.
Paul.
Well, that's what I was explaining, because Tease got a little, unfriendly
Exactly.
fire. And I said, Tease.
I took
there's
the
gonna be
tarps off for the halftime
some
show.
people love you, and some people don't like
we
you.
have trivia
Lean into
today?
it.
Of course.
I'm
Be the
looking
villain.
forward to it.
There you go.
It's a from
Le-
I gotta be
lean
me,
into
I
it.
gotta be free. Little wisdom from Revenge of the Nerds there.
Great movie.
Spee's got a little off topic here, so let's dabble back into
Good job,
the
Spee.
off topic. Spee here. Please don't talk about beeping football today. Instead, let's get your most embarrassing sports or non-sports stories.
That was a halftime show
Keep
episode.
them
We've gotten
personal.
this question too.
Mine is scoring against my team in youth basketball, or being a fat kid having to waist wrap the ball in front of hot girls on shirt skin stays. I feel you there, Spee. And outside of sports, I barfed Cheez-Its all over my jeans on the first day of preschool. Please open the vaults and entertain us with your most colorful instances of humiliation. I had a couple. Somebody threw a wad of gum getting off the bus when I was in 7th grade into my hair, and I had to go to the nurse, and she didn't give a crap. She just, and then I had these big balls on the back of my hair. That was kind of
Oh my
embarrassing.
holy lawsuit if that happened today.
Throwing a wad of gum.
No.
Cutting my hair.
Just cutting it out of your hair without anybody's permission.
If I had a broccoli cut, I could have messed it up and covered it. But it was back in the day of the flat top, which I discovered after most of my youth having just a bowl cut, like Lloyd Christmas, and then I'm I hated my hair. I mean, I remember being in I don't know, 4th grade, being I hate my hair so much, the stupid stuff you care about, and then went to my mom took me to the salon, and they were they busted out this giant comb that actually had a level, like a liquid with the ball in the middle, and they put it right in the top, and then they would shave it, and they give you the wax, and then you had the Ivan Drago flat top. So
I must break you.
right. What do you guys got?
I'll go. All right, college soccer. Hard to believe I had an afro. All right, I know. And
I need to see pictures.
I grew it out for 6 months. It was crazy. We were playing. Went up to head the ball, just went right off the hair, out of bounds. Coach is screaming at me. I went right after the game straight to the barber, cut it right off. Instantly, had to be done.
It never grew back?
It went right.
Oh, clearly I didn't.
That was the last time you had hair.
Yeah, pretty much. Should have kept it.
What, Alex? What do you got? Sports stories?
I've told
Soccer?
this story on the show before, but
Halftime show. Tune in.
Oh yeah, there you go.
No, even on the show, I think a year or two ago.
I think we talked about some
yeah,
stuff like
my
this.
famous line: "I ate poop after on the hurdles."
Right.
The meat. Yeah, I don't have anything crazy embarrassing.
I'm trying to think. I know I'll probably think of them off the air that they'll come back to me, but it'll occur to us maybe later in the show. Let's
I have a million of them.
let's move on
I
here.
got some more, but we'll let it
I'm
ride.
really an elite athlete, and I've never aired on the field.
Okay.
Jeffrey from Canada. I completely disagree with Fred's take on cooking a steak. He thinks you shouldn't even be allowed to eat it unless it's rare. People should get their steak however they like, without being judged. Fred gets upset about well done. I've also felt pretty queasy sitting at a table watching someone try to cut into a piece of beef that's completely red, barely even warm. It's like QBs. Some like Daniels, some like May.
What's your steak cut?
Yeah, I'm medium. If it's a good place, medium rare.
Can I go
St.
off the
Elmo's?
rails?
I'll go medium rare.
Medium, I
Medium.
would say, but Fred gets really adamant. You can't have it well.
You gotta.
It's tied really
Does he like
deeply.
it blue? You just flip on the grill real quick. One flip.
I learned in an anthropology class in college that how you like your steak and your eggs. If you like your steak rare and your eggs runny, signifies you're of a higher socioeconomic class. Because if you think about it, if you like your meat well done, your eggs cooked through, there was probably a higher chance that you're trying to cook out bacteria, not get sick, your food's not as fresh, not as good. So
medium rare guy right here.
food for
so
thought.
There you go.
Wow.
for thought.
Alex and Raleigh, appreciate the option.
What if you're in the middle?
Yeah. Then you're
Middle class.
Then you're in the middle class. There you go.
Sometimes you could afford to get organic, sometimes no.
They appreciate the offseason talk. There's only so many times everyone can say to take a QB and do what's best for the team. Everyone complaining about no football needs to get outside and see the sun. Touch grass.
Touch grass.
Touch grass. I'm
grass.
gonna throw that in with
Yeah.
my Riz.
There you go.
Absolutely. Touch grass.
I feel like
Paul,
there's gonna be
the
some stuff
Risley
getting-
Bear.
There's gonna be some stuff getting clipped off this show. Has anyone in the panel heard the Julian Edelman podcast with Slater? I thought it offered some interesting perspective into how the team was when they were together, and Slater talks a little about last year and how he went down with the ship. Can we get Slater on the show and ask him questions? Or Paul getting Slater for Pats from the Past? Keep the rising. Sorry.
So Slater will definitely be a candidate for us to talk to. Let him settle in a little bit and see exactly what he's going to do.
I've seen some clips of him and Edelman. There's some really funny stuff.
I think
did
they
not
did 2
see
hours
I did not
together.
see the podcast, though. I am aware of some clips that people have quoted on Twitter, but did anybody watch
I didn't watch the full thing.
Not
just
the full
clips.
thing, just clips.
Yeah.
Heard him talking about him almost leaving in 2018. Almost went to the Steelers, but I think ultimately the Patriots called him when he was at the airport, and that was it.
Please, Matthew.
I like the little nuggets, him talking about Edelman being kind of the only guy that could call
that was
out
fun.
Brady a little bit. Edelman almost getting in fights with Chad O'Shea in practice. Edelman being the guy who always would throw his helmet down in frustration. I mean, everything was believable that Slater shared. But, I mean, it kind of started with the Dynasty, and it continued with this. It's a whole different vibe with Matthew Slater these days. Like, it's like relaxed, loose, shooting from the hip Slater, and not like measured locker room speech Slater that we're kind of used to.
Yeah, like I had seen some things about the Dynasty, and I don't care. Like they all talked on the Dynasty. They all said what they had to say. I understand the frustration for, specifically with like McCourty saying that I told stories and they only told half of what I said. They only aired. I get that. But you said what you said. You gotta live by it. The one thing that Slater said in that thing, not related to the Dynasty, I really liked, right up my alley, ripping the officials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now that I don't play,
You could tell
I
that
could
he
call out
has
the
been.
officials, and
He's
he had
been
the very
mentally-
specific
yes,
game in mind.
He's been mentally filing these grievances, and
Which
it's
I
all
love
coming
'cause
out.
it's just like
I know.
Yeah. I got to admit, though, somebody at the bottom of the clip showed the clip of what he was complaining about, and I was kind of like,
He very much
dude,
ran
you
out
just
of bounds.
stayed out of bounds like the whole way down
I
the
remember
field.
the game.
Like,
That was the Brady. That was
Yeah.
the Brady game.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that was the
Oh,
Tampa
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
He credited.
totally ran out of
He
bounds.
credited the officials with losing
Losing the
probably
game. I
losing
know.
the game.
I watched
Which
it, I'm
again,
like-
I love.
He was like, "Shame
I
on
love
you."
it.
He said, "Shame on them." I love it. I love seeing him fired up.
That's good. This one probably a little more for you guys, though, from Christian.
Oh, it's mad. Sad. You gonna take your ball and go home?
No.
okay.
I just know nothing about basketball. If
This
the
is true.
NFL were to introduce city jerseys like the NBA, what would the Patriots jerseys look like? Well, we don't have a city though. We have 5 states, right?
The borough.
Is that
It's not 6 states.
what do they look
So
like?
we not count them all
Is it a borough? I don't know. Connecticut,
New
I could
England?
kind of take it or leave it.
because they're half and half.
You have
of
half
the
of
Giants.
Connecticut.
I speak the truth. I mean, half of Connecticut is.
Oh, there's a
Giants
lot
and
of
Jets fans.
Connecticut
There's
that
no
doesn't
way.
have any interest in
They're
Boston
barely
sports.
hanging in.
Yeah.
Barely.
I don't know, because like the jerseys flip. You know what I mean? Like for the NBA, they're always a little bit different. Some like go back to like something with the city. I've seen.
Can I ask you guys, and I assume that both of you are into all the different uniforms in the NBA. Do you like those?
Depends.
The
on
Celtics
like,
ones are usually pretty mid.
It depends which one it is.
We're hitting all the millennial. talk.
really are.
It's really
Well,
great.
I saw a
Pounded
cool
it
I saw a
home
cool
today. I love it.
Celtics
I want to hear Paul use
concept.
that one in a sentence.
Oh, that one I've used many times.
I-
England would just be America.
I saw a cool Celtics concept of
American
the water
flag.
tower.
Me
off
too. I was just
93.
gonna bring this up. You took the word out of my mouth. The big paint water tower
Yeah.
in Dorchester.
Oh, right.
Someone made
Yeah.
a Celtic City jersey with the paint stripes on it. It was pretty fire. I can't lie.
kind of a
I would
Pretty
buy
fi-
it.
Pretty fire.
Pretty fire.
Pretty fire.
Mostly they.
I think Pretty Fire is a little outdated at this point.
That's
We're showing
mostly-
the
No,
age
that's
of that.
why you felt like you were taking it back a little bit. We were just only
Smacks.
doing Riz and
It's Max.
Oh, slaps.
Slaps.
Oh, it's
No,
slaps.
no. They
That's
I'm
gas.
just gonna tell you.
My little sister says gas.
Gas, slaps, and smacks
Banging.
are all used.
Lit is hanging on too.
Lit,
By,
you think
by a
that's-
thread.
My little sister texted me, and she's been watching the Dynasty. My 21-year-old sister, which is just hilarious because she's not a big football fan. But she's like, "Why are they so mean to Bill? He seems lit." I'm like, oh my god.
The different perspective, right?
I know.
21-year-old didn't really experience any of the wins.
She's just sweet and innocent. We're gonna keep her that way.
I like this one from Raphael. I feel similar. I was excited when the Pats drafted Mac Jones. I even bought his jersey on draft night. It was a new era for the Pats. Now entering another new era with any QB the Pats draft this draft. Should I be as excited to even think about buying their jersey on draft night?
How old are you?
Are you a man and how old are you?
That's usually the comment that comes out of the old guy's mouth. But
I mean, I would just speak to that was one of my favorite kind of moments since working here was that on field when Matt came in, and part of it was I've said
was
before.
that number 2 after Brady signing with Tampa Bay?
Perfect. Yes, thank God we got rid of that guy. 12-win seasons, don't want him. But it was we were kind of coming out of COVID, and we had we got back to the jersey presentation on the field. And it was just, it felt like a new start. And I think any quarterback or first-round pick, and, hopefully it's Drake May, out there on the field. But I think that I would be super excited. And if there were people that wanted to jump and get that jersey, I say, go for it. And maybe just take that Mac 10 and, modify it.
I mean, you need to, sort of watch these guys a little bit and find out, what you like and who you like.
I would never buy a jersey that wasn't, like a Brady or an Ortiz.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy a rookie jersey, and because
they'll change their number probably anyways too.
That's another good point, but you just don't know.
Within 3 weeks.
How do you know a guy's going to be great? But in terms of being excited, I was the opposite of you. I didn't think anything of Mac Jones in that draft. I didn't understand why he was a first-round pick, and I wasn't happy that we took him. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be excited about the next guy they take, because that might be, if it's J.J. McCarthy, I'll probably feel pretty similar.
Yeah, me too.
But if it was Drake May or Jaden Daniels, I think I'd be pretty excited about it.
I'll tell you, though, from the comments we did, and we, Evan did a first film breakdown of McCarthy, and he's the most polarizing player in this draft right now. And I know he's having a little bit of a moment right now where, some people have him even going 3rd overall to the Patriots, but
he touches grass.
He
takes his cleats and socks off and walks around in the turf so he can really
wiggles his toes.
Get in there.
That's called grounding.
Meditates before the game.
But I like the comments on the video are so just like, this guy's amazing. This guy is terrible. I don't think I've ever seen a more divisive prospect, especially right now where he's kind of, like I said, having a moment. And
I just don't know about him, because I just haven't seen it. Not that I haven't seen him play well. I haven't seen him play the way the other guys have played in terms of carrying their offenses and whatnot.
Sam from St. Catherine's bringing up Caleb Williams. Never understood the criticism on Caleb Williams about his crying or his dad speaking out from being from the Boston media fan base at large. I can't think of any quarterback I've seen cry more than Tom Brady, and it's not like
it's a great point.
Tom
One
Senior
that I've made
keeps his
many
opinions
times
to himself. Tom, that she makes the point too, Sam. Tom Senior. He seemed to be, certainly after Tom left, he became a little bit more vocal. But was I talking to you about I was talking to somebody upstairs about what if Caleb Williams fell to 3, and I'd be like, well,
awesome,
go for it. I feel like it's going to go either it's going to be an amazing success or it's going to be a train wreck. But either way, I would sign up for it.
So let's play with that for a second. What would you feel like if he fell to 3? Would you say
going to be like draft day?
Yeah. What's wrong with him?
Nobody went to his birthday party.
What's wrong with him?
Yeah, right. But I mean, the guy is crazy talented, and the pink nails and all. I'm like, let's go.
I don't get the dad speaking out thing too. That's just.
Well, that can be an issue, like the LeVar Ball thing.
Got two of his kids to the league.
Yeah, and they can be they can be an issue, is what I'm saying. Now, I don't understand the crying thing.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow cried every game. For something, win, lose, just emotional guy.
Well, to go back to the dad
Now,
thing.
Tim Tebow couldn't play in the NFL, but in college, he was the ultimate competitor and winner, right?
Yeah, everybody invests a lot into the sport. It's going to be emotional.
Some guys are sensitive and emotional. Brady, you go back and watch the documentary. Even the players say, Tommy was sensitive.
Yeah.
Well, Tom didn't have a pink phone case and his nails painted, and apparently lip gloss now too.
It's pretty. I like it.
But is that why he can't play?
No,
but these are the things
I'm making fun of
Gen Z quarterbacks.
Right.
These are the kids.
But I would think that
That's
these
how
are the
kids
kinds
are.
of things that someone like my generation would be like,
Right.
I don't want.
Yeah.
My quarterback doesn't have his nails What do I care what
Yeah.
he does?
That's
Throw-
why I'm
throw
making
the
fun of
ball.
this.
I would just
Can
draw.
he throw?
I just draw a little bit of a distinction, and like the fact that he cried doesn't bother me. Where I start to get questions is when it feels performative, and when it feels like Tom, it just feels like all of a sudden the mood hits him, and you're like, oh boy, here we go. Like it never, to me at least, felt like he's like, I'm gonna turn on the emotion right here to just show everybody how much I care. Like he just feels like that. So. My only thing, Williams,
You have a
is
different impression of the Brady Six than
No.
I did then, because I thought that was as performative as it got.
I'm interested about the dad thing because Shador next year with Dion. Dion's already been loud.
Yeah,
so.
Dion's got his hands full with his
You
own
and
team,
Shador.
right?
See, now I
Shador.
wouldn't worry about Dion,
He's already
Shador.
he's already saying he's going to pull an Eli if
Well-
he doesn't go to some teams.
and the other guy too. 12. What's his name?
Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already told, and I think there's a couple of others. He's already said they're going to put out a short list, and guys like Florio are applauding him for it because that's going to force teams not to take him.
Do you think this is the future, though, of this because guys are getting
NIL
paid
and transfer portal.
Yes.
It's just kind of how it's going to be. I mean, we talked about it before. These guys aren't coming into the league like I made it. Like they've already kind of made it financially.
Caleb
many
Williams in
cases.
the
They're
LA
already
penthouse
huge
right now.
A
celebrities.
guy
Yeah.
like Caleb Williams, is different because he's made so much. Like those are national ads that he's in. That's major money. Most of these NIL guys, the money is way overblown.
They got to do. Have you seen those ads where they get like a different Caitlin Clark, and they do, it's like this average woman named Caitlin Clark, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
have,
Or like the
they
guy's
gotta
name,
do
the
one with
guy's name's
Caleb
Michael
Williams.
Jordan.
Yeah, they got to do one with Caleb Williams. One of those too. All right, well, I guess
Mike's food's here.
me and Paul's food is here. But hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, just reminding you, including those not even seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go eat some subs.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. You hear that? Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050, or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gaming resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
And we are back with another edition of the PU Halftime Show. I heard it was dull, so Chris Cassidy is here with me. We're sitting tops off in the side studio.
I've been here, Tease. I've been here.
We're livening it up a little. All right, we're going to start off with some – I'm joking, by the way. Tops are on. We're going to start with some trivia here. Chris, don't answer it. But, if you get the trivia right, send your answers into webradio@patriots.com. Question number 1. How many touchdown passes did Tom Brady throw to Chris Hogan? All right. Question 2. What was Tom Brady's overall record against Peyton Manning? And question 3. How many rushing touchdowns did Cam Newton have for the Patriots? All right. Send your answers into webradio@patriots.com. And, Chris, you actually picked the topic for this one, so you want to rip through it real quick?
I mean, yeah, just going through our top 5 receivers
All
that we
right.
feel in the league right now.
Right now.
And then we'll discuss where we feel Malik Neighbors and, Marvin Harrison Jr. will fit.
All right. Do you want to rip first or you want me to go?
No, you go.
All right. And this, are we going top, like in a row or just
no,
top
start
5?
at 5. Start at 5 and then work your way up to
Start
1.
5. All right. All right.
No, because
okay.
Actually, say your top 4 and then we can say our number
Okay, because
1.
we both have a sneaky potential. 5 is interesting.
Go ahead.
All
Start
right.
at 5, start at 5.
All right. I'm just gonna go with all of them, and I'll tell you my
that's
honorable
fine.
mentions
That's
we
fine.
missed out. Number 5, Scary Terry McLaurin. All right. Number 4, Devontae Adams, and he's just no. I'll tell you why he's there. All right.
All right.
Number 3, Jamar Chase. Number 2, Tyreek. And number 1, Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So my 5-1, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill,
All right.
Justin Jefferson.
All right, so I had AJ. AJ was my flip-flop for 5, and I put Terry there just because he's been doing a lot with some bad quarterbacks. So, but I straight up, I like Justin Jefferson is the most talented, but I think Tyreek is the most dangerous receiver in the league.
Oh, easily.
Like, you play him outside, play him in a slot. If he gets the ball in his hands, good luck catching him.
Justin Jefferson obviously wasn't fully healthy last year either, so, I mean.
And that's the thing with Devontae Adams, too.
Yeah.
So, but, like, because Devontae Adams in, like, the 2019 to 2021, unstoppable. I would put him probably number 1 or 2.
He also wasn't getting a lot of targets this past year, a little
some-
bit less than normal.
I think he jumped the gun a little early on his move to Vegas. That might have screwed him a little.
Probably.
But all right, you want to talk about the rookies?
I mean, if you want to jump into it, I was
No,
gonna say,
keep going. Let's go. Let's go.
My honorable mention for this list was DJ Moore. I think no, he's not.
No,
a
he's
bum.
good. He's good.
I think you put DJ Moore with the quality quarterback, which hopefully, I mean, the Bears are lining it up like Caleb Williams is that guy. So if Caleb Williams can be throwing the ball at DJ Moore, I think the Bears could have a very dynamic offense. I think DJ Moore is a very underrated wide receiver. I guess receiver was Mike Evans, which
I know you don't like him.
We can have this discussion.
That's a separate topic right there.
But I do have my fair share of takes on Mike Evans, but I do think he's a good receiver, and I mean that's my I guess.
So let's preface this. I guess we're kind of going off the past season because like we have Debo, but he was kind of banged up. Puka had a crazy season. We didn't even mention Cooper Kupp.
No.
And that we're just going off last season because obviously Mike Evans kind of goes into A.J. Brown territory. And Mike Evans is a little bit older, but, slowing down a little. Same with Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
So, you can't forget these guys. But obviously, there's about 15, very elite of the elite right now. And none of them are on the pass, but that's a different story. All right, let's talk about the 2 rookies. All right, we got Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. And I know we're going to get into this in a couple weeks on the draft countdown. So we can talk about that later, but let's talk about these 2 guys, kind of the consensus top 2 guys.
So as of right now, Malik Neighbors, as we speak, as we're rolling with this halftime show, he is in his pro day, and he's had a dominant start.
Yep.
Ran a 4.35 40-yard dash, a 42-inch vertical.
Lazar's there right now,
Evan
drooling.
Lazar's drooling in his seat right now at LSU. And, I mean, let me tell you, this kid is showing a lot of promise, and he's somebody that could jump Marvin Harrison in the draft rankings if he keeps this up. Marvin Harrison refusing to do any sort of workouts right
which
now.
I'm not going to knock him for.
No, absolutely not. To each his own for sure.
Do you,
and
but when it comes to, your status on the draft board, the way it is, if you don't do the workouts and stuff, you're going to just slide a little.
Right. You want to showcase what you can do, and I think Malik Neighbors has really done a great job with that. And, again, as at this moment, they're in the throwing portion of this pro day. So we don't 100% know what's going on there, but he's got Jaden Daniels. He had a great quarterback throwing him the ball. Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, again, one of the most dynamic receivers in the Big Ten last year, or in college football, I should say. Kyle McCord throwing the ball to him. So a little bit of a different dynamic there. I think if their first season, when they enter the league, who do you think has a better chance of falling into a place with the Justin Jeffersons, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, et cetera?
It just depends. Really depends where they go, man. You say Neighbors goes to L.A. I think it's going to be Neighbors. He's going to be that number 1 target. If Quentin Johnson doesn't play as badly as he did this year, it's going to work out because you never know with the Cardinals. You got Kyler, who's still not 100. He's back, but he's not. Hopefully he's still full Kyler again. I think it sometimes just ends up where you fall, and Neighbors has the potential to have that Puka Nacua type jump onto the scene.
The Cardinals also considering trading back from number 4, which is a interesting take on the draft.
If you can get a haul of draft picks and then maybe still get Marvin or even Neighbors, you're good.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Marvin Harrison obviously has a lot of upside. We've talked a lot about him, but depending on where he ends up going, like you said, it all kind of comes down to the draft, and a lot of these decisions are going to happen following trades, and I think it'll be a very interesting lead up to the draft within the final 2 or 3 days,
Yep.
even on draft day.
Yeah, and guys, we're also just talking about Neighbors and Marvin Harrison here. There are also some other great
Oh my God,
receivers
yeah.
that can make some noise. But obviously, you see the top two, you want to talk about them. So
Absolutely.
I'm very excited to see how this turns out for them.
Yeah, it'll be good. And you also have Roma Dunze as well in that
Yeah.
in that top list as well.
The two
and
kids from
he's-
Texas.
Yeah, A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah,
He's
Worthy.
Absolute animal. Xavier Worthy,
Yeah.
fastest man alive right now,
Yeah.
apparently.
No, listen, there's
So-
going to be some talent out there. And so hopefully some of these guys end up with a decent offense and can make a jump on the scene pretty early here.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Chris?
I mean, hey, it's up to you.
No,
You
we're
got
good.
anything
We're
else?
good. Maybe we'll run through some running backs or some quarterbacks, you know?
That sounds good.
All right, guys. As always, thank you for tuning in to the PU Halftime Show. If you got the trivia, I think we got some T-shirts coming. I don't know. I heard rumors that we might have a new batch coming, potentially a new logo. I don't know. I'm supposed to leak that here. But anyway, send your answers to webradiopatriots.com, and let's get back to the show.
Costumes.
Oh no.
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
And now, great moments in history.
If you say he's a friend of Eric,
Yes.
isn't that proper? Isn't a friend of Eric's redundant?
Yes.
If he belongs to Eric, that's what the of means. It's possessive.
Yep.
So why do we
It's a
need
good one.
of Eric's?
That's a good one. Like you don't have
Eric's
to,
friend.
Eric's friend would be proper, but if you say he's a friend of Eric, that's also proper, no?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
But a lot of people
But
say
people
a
would
friend
say
of
he's
Eric's.
a friend of Eric's.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
I hear that
know
a
that
lot.
I'm right. I don't know that I'm right about that
Right.
one. So I'm not being all
It should be
snarky.
friend of Eric.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how that's how I would write it.
This is a grammar deep dive in
Yes.
AP Perillo
Yep.
English.
I know
very
you,
specific.
I know you just got on a blog and just wrote on your own. Some of us had to go to college and learn how to do it.
Perfect.
Ooh, elitism.
Not a very good one, but
That's another great moment from
All right, we're back from lunch here, and just want to remind you guys, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the New England Patriots, and we actually have the host
Oh, yeah.
of the halftime show here to read off a couple winners. Go ahead, Tease.
Trivia. All right. Question 1. How many touchdown passes did Tom Brady throw to Chris Hogan?
I saw it, so I don't want to answer.
You guys know?
11.
Yeah, on the money, Paul.
I did not see that. I swear to God.
You know,
11.
he does nothing but make fun of Chris Hogan having the cloak of invisibility. Somehow he's very invested in all the touchdowns.
The winner was Little Stevie. All right. Question 2. What was Tom Brady's record against Peyton Manning?
Ooh. Ah, crap.
Nobody got this one, by the way.
I don't know.
16-8.
11-6. All right.
It wasn't terrible.
11
It's not a
and 6.
terrible
Not
guess.
bad. Nobody got that one. So question 3. How many rushing touchdowns did Cam Newton have for the Patriots?
13.
Calm? One year.
I'm guessing I was wrong.
12.
12.
Winner
wow.
was Colin in Seattle.
You guys are close.
I don't know what you guys are going to win, but I'm sure you'll win something.
Do we still have T-shirts? We gotta. You know what we gotta do is we gotta re-up the T-shirts. Maybe we go sweatshirts.
I was thinking hoodies.
Hoodies.
I don't know who it's up to, but
Crew neck.
Yeah.
it's time, you know.
Is that what's in with the kids these days? The crew neck?
I think it's
Something
all
with
in.
the
They don't
hoodies.
like the hood.
I'm just partial.
Because
to
my
this crew
kids,
neck.
I think like when I was growing up, I had like 2 to 3 hoodies like that, and they got worn a lot. But my kids, that's they have 12 hoodies, and somehow I have to wash all of them every Sunday.
Listen, if they're hoodies, the questions are going to get tougher. That's for sure. All
People,
right?
yeah, you're gonna have to do a little more of a deep dive there.
Well, are they questions that they can just go on and Google?
Some of them. One of them I just thought off the top of my head. So
You had to do you have to do research for the answers, or
Yeah.
do you only pick stuff you know?
no, I do some research.
I'm going to guess you didn't know, like 11 touchdowns from Chris Hogan.
I figured that one out somehow, but yeah.
Cloak of
I
invisibility.
can't believe you got that one though.
That was a complete total guess.
Yeah.
Is that like your lucky number or something?
Cam Newton wasn't a guess.
Yeah, he had
Like
12.
I thought he had 13,
Yeah.
but the
Should have had 13.
how he fell
Yeah.
in Seattle.
No, Buffalo too fumbled.
Yeah, well, that one was at like the 20-yard line. Remember like the last play
Oh yeah.
in the Seattle game
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he got tackled?
Yeah.
He didn't fall. He got
Flipped.
They blew it up.
Flipped. The last good game Jamal Adams played.
Oh man,
Like, unbelievable.
Terrible.
what did they
player.
trade? What did the Seahawks trade for him? Like a
They,
first
they
round
cut.
pick?
They
Two-
cut.
two
They,
ones,
They
I
gave him
think.
a lot, and then he was injured the whole time. Got cut. They might sign. I think he's gonna retire. Honestly, he's been beat up.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Yikes. Back to the emails, though. And again, sorry, folks, the phones are down here on our 328 National Holiday edition of PU.
You didn't flip the shirt.
Oh, I'll do that after I read this email. I know we gotta show both sides. Which, quick story. Like it initially was just the front in the shirt, and then somebody was like, "Why don't you put the final scoreboard on the back?" And I'm like, "Okay." And thank you, Paul.
There we
Appreciate
go.
that. There it is. And final
Boom.
OT 34-28.
We should have that framed in the
Patriots.
new studio. Like how they frame jerseys, but it's just a T-shirt.
I know. Well, it's in the Patriots Hall of Fame. That's so yeah. It's definitely pretty cool.
I'm just really surprised. Like, how did you come up with one of those?
I think someone else had the idea, and I just stole it from him. Kevin from Dublin. Did I do that right? That's Fred's thing, right? Is the PU accent off still a thing? Are there any plans to have some fun competitions in the dog days of May and June? Personally, I love to see PP and the Deuce dueling it out in a high-stakes game of Pictionary. Loser has to sing directly in front of the camera an entire song chosen by the winner. Please win, Mike. Well, I don't ask me to sing. I will sing. I don't mind. But I'm not a good drawer, Paul.
What's the accent contest?
I heard about that.
They used to do something that probably should have been
Not as far as you know.
canceled. They would do maybe you've heard the clip of Fred going, "When I was a little girl in Dusseldorf." So it was, vaguely.
Then I was a little girl in Dusseldorf.
You said that people would write in phrases for Fred and Eric to then read in a specific accent.
Pointing to the tenor of the pronunciation of the word.
That's Bertie Sanders. Yeah. Eric was good.
It was an impersonation off, and it was an accent off.
Yeah.
The accent off probably would.
Yeah, you can't really
not
do that
fly as
anymore.
well.
No.
Super excited to go of my best of abilities.
That's Gronk.
Pre-PCPU.
To my best of my abilities. That's Eric. Eric had some doozies. We miss him, Eric.
That was a good Gronk though. The best of.
Oh, my abilities. Here's one from Alex. Not you, Alex. Does anyone else feel like Joe Milton gives off a Josh Allen type vibe? Yes, I do. I know Allen was a higher ranked prospect than Milton, but they both have elite arm strength. Milton is bigger than some of the tight ends in the league. Running ability with a similar frame, but just more athletic than Josh Allen. I saw a clip yesterday of Milton throwing his pro day, and the guy on the camera was like, "Oh!" Like you heard him
God.
audibly gasp when he just rifled it. Again, to stick with my thing, draft a quarterback every year. I like him, and I like the FSU kid, Jordan Travis. I don't think that there's they're going to be the starter, but I think they've got some things to work with, and it's always good business just to keep these guys in the pipeline.
I think it'd be interesting to see where Milton would go in the Kenny Pickett type year or something. We have the top 4-5 prospects, and he's kind of that one outside guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm a hard no on Joe Milton. He's done nothing in college at 2 different schools.
Yeah. But imagine him just throwing the ball over the, what is it now? Waste Management Fieldhouse.
He's gonna
waste innovation.
Well, you know what's gonna happen.
Really sure you get anything
because
for
the
that.
logo is win.
You know what's gonna happen is Mahomes it's gonna sprain an ankle. I'm not wishing out anything, but he's gonna end up in a perfect offense drafted late, and it's gonna he's gonna turn some heads if he ever gets some garbage time playing time.
Oh boy, Bronson says, going back to my question Tuesdays, you guys said you think we could get maybe a 6th or a 7th for Juju. So if we were to trade for Higgins, if they were asking for a 3rd or something, do you think they would entertain trading Juju and let's say a 5th for Higgins? Is that something you could see happen, or what do you guys think?
Not even in Madden.
No, I thought I explained that part of it too. I think if you're including Juju in a trade, that lessens the value, and it's not a shot at Juju. It's the contract, his status right now, his health and whatever. He's coming off a terrible year. He looks to be damaged goods, and he makes a lot of money. So if you're adding him as a sweetener, that's going to cost you more.
Yeah. Of all the guys that I'm just so interested to kind of see, and not that I have any illusion that he's going to all of a sudden get it, but I think I came across one of those, an old comment of somebody was bashing me for saying that I thought Juju looked like he stunk in August. And
should I teach you how to keep receipts?
I had even forgot that I had, but I just people don't realize we watch these practices. I'm sorry, when you look on the field and a guy has no explosion, he's not catching any balls. like, what do you want us to say? Like, and that's what translated to the year. And I don't know, there's maybe like a 2% little thing in the back of my head of like, well, maybe he just was never really healthy last year and he's had an opportunity and maybe there's a little bit of something. But then I look at that Pittsburgh game where he actually looked like a competent NFL receiver for like 58 minutes of the game.
Right.
And so it's mind-boggling. And then you look at all the depth and it's hard to say he's better than KJ Osborne, like, you know, that he would play over KJ Osborne or Pop or Kendrick Bourne when he's healthy. So I don't know. He's just, to me, this is a throw it all at the wall kind of 9 group of receiver at this point, and hopefully there's at least 1 or 2 rookies added to the mix that just kind of continue to push him down. And I think we're of the same mind, Paul, of like, just cut him. Like, if he's not going to play.
I think that probably will happen at some point, but I think they need to get some. Yeah, they need to get some guys in the draft, or at least one.
Eddie writes in, he likes Alex. Hey, gang.
Oh, God.
Would it be possible to get another high second-round pick in this
Eddie
draft?
has Crocs.
If so,
And
what would it
socks.
cost? Maybe can we sag both the wide receiver and OT that land early day 2? Only saying because I've heard Evan say there's good starters going in day 2 for both positions. Love y'all, especially Miss Alex. Wink, wink. It's hard to do. I mean, I like the trades, trading back up into the first. I think that in the early second, though, you lose kind of the really intriguing tackles. There might be 1 or 2 at the top, but there are tackles that I like that are into the 3rd round that are intriguing, and I'm sorry, wide receivers. Tackles a little bit more developmental, and now
that's why I go tackle wide receiver.
Yeah, and you feel like they're saying they're going to play on when you at right tackle. So when you signed Chucks, going with that. Thank you. A core.
If you trade into
Aruarie.
If you trade into the first, how high do you think you're going?
The one I was kind of looking at was Green Bay, which I think they were like 25th, maybe.
Got it.
Something like that.
And you're
Go
locking
up
in
like
the 5th-year option too.
And you're locking in the 5th-year option, and you could get someone like Tyler Guyton or maybe a Marius Mims. Those types of guys that I know. Kingsley Suamatai, I think I'm saying that right. I know that's one of Evan's favorite guys. But yeah, I think by the time you get to 34, you're kind of left with what's left over at tackle. But for receiver, it's I think you've got some options still, but it's just hard to see how you get back up into the second with a second round pick.
We got
awkward pause.
Yeah, what we got?
So
I
here's
just want to
another
let it
one
breathe for a
you.
second.
The trade down thing, and we talked about if you don't like the quarterbacks, then it doesn't. It's not a dumb thing to want to move down and see if you can get extra picks. I've heard a lot of people say, you move down and you maybe at 11 you can get another, one of the other quarterbacks. Like if you move down and you got J.J. McCarthy at 11, or 23 you take Michael Penix. Like, I don't really understand that logic, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. If you're gonna move down and still take a quarterback with the first pick,
what's the point?
Yeah,
take the better one.
Why wouldn't you take the better rated quarterback?
I totally agree. And that's why for me it's basically May and Daniels this year.
People are trying to kill, or I don't like that phrase. People are trying to feed 2 birds with 1 scone. Sounds a little nicer.
Scone?
2 birds, 1 scone.
Yeah. One crumpet.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, she doesn't want to do damage to the animal.
I don't want to kill the birds.
I always did 2 dolphins with 1 harpoon. Talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal too.
That's pretty harsh.
Well,
Did you see what was
Miami
the team?
Dolphins?
Hey, bro, that's dark.
What was the team that got in trouble for posting roadkill?
Oh, that was the Chicago. Chicago.
Did you guys see the hockey beef?
The Wild.
The hockey social teams were beefing with each other.
The Wild beat the Coyotes, and then they
posted a picture of a dead coyote that just got
with
hit
a
by
car driving away in the background.
Hey, whatever.
So I don't want PETA on us like them.
No.
Anyways,
we love animals.
People are trying to make this, like I said, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and it's just go for quality.
This is good. Cody writes in, I think he's liking our lack of phones. He appreciates the slander on the frequent callers. Would love for no call Thursdays to be a thing. LOL. It's like they're powerless to respond. It's like poor Eldred would have to pull over and write an email.
Tuesday's gonna be lit.
They're gonna all call in. No, we'll keep the phones down till then. I'm just going to jump into this one. I don't know if it's good or not. Hey, family, quick question. Do you all feel that during the Mac Jones era, we always had major holes to fill and we never really could use resources on surrounding him with talent in the draft? And if we get a QB this year and fill our few holes, we will be more inclined to do that next year? Paul, you're big on filling the holes. What do you think?
Got a lot of holes to fill. Can't fill them all at once. Yeah, I think there was, I think that was one of the things that was a very accurate criticism of Bill, like using all those defensive, Gonzalez, White, Mapu, 1, 2, 3 last year in the draft when you had such an obvious need for skilled position guys on offense. That's a very, I think, level-headed second guess, and in a lot of cases it was a first guess. They need to do a better job of filling some of the holes, and I'd be stunned if the first couple of picks, at least maybe the first 3, if they're not offense. I go quarterback, tackle, wide receiver, but
I think the left tackle one's glaring right now. I mean, you don't really unless you're going to try to sell yourself on Calvin Anderson, which maybe they are, but like when I keep my little nerd depth chart, it's like I don't have a number 1 left tackle in there.
You just have it vacant?
Vacant, that's right. It's a message. I'm sending a message to myself maybe, but I just think that's a huge hole. Let's go. We're going off topic again, guys.
Love it.
From God. Greg from Shrewsbury. Very simple. What are your top 3 comedy movies? Comedy movies. So you got a lot of different ones.
I got some in no order. I don't know if I have 3. Give me a second.
Yeah.
The Hangover.
Yeah.
The Hangover, Airplane, American Pie.
Ooh.
Okay.
Airplane's a good one.
I would. Yeah. I like.
That's a no order.
I loved all 3. I would put Caddyshack. Would be in that conversation. Night Shift would be in the conversation.
No.
Blazing Saddles also is in there.
Careful there.
Something about Mary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I Dumb and Dumber. I watched that movie
Dumb and Dumber
5,000 times.
Absolutely, a place at the table.
I could probably go word for word on that movie because when I should have been studying in college, I was watching Dumb and Dumber.
Step Brothers up there too.
Step Brothers is. I'm with you. That Step Brothers to me.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, Step Brothers.
That whole stretch. There was a stretch with like Step Brothers, Pineapple Express. Like they were just
The Hangover,
Tropic Thunder.
Hilarious.
Tropic Thunder.
Okay, Tropic Thunder, the scene where the director blows up and then Ben Stiller picks up his head and it's like, it's movie prop. Brilliant. I love that movie. One little that you guys probably make fun of me, but just one of my all-time favorite movies is Dr. Strangelove. I think that movie's hilarious and brilliant, but
I can't make fun of you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the movie, but I didn't see it, so I can't make fun of you.
It's one of those that you're like, this is a comedy, and they just brilliant. One of my favorites, but thank you for the question, Greg. That's
American Pie, aged brilliantly.
Did it?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that. I think I saw
great.
that 2 or 3 times in the theater because we would go with groups of friends and everybody was just laughing. And,
it's great.
And into it.
I want to throw an Eddie Murphy movie in too, but it's
Beverly
been
Hills
so
48 Hours
long
and Beverly Hills
that
Cop.
I've seen any of them, but I just remember cracking up as a kid.
I mean, what are
Tommy
a good
Boy.
question?
My mom loved Eddie Murphy.
I watched Tommy Boy the other night.
That's a good one.
Bees everywhere. Save yourselves.
Not a lot of good lately comedies though.
No,
Do you feel
people
like
aren't funny
comedies aren't
anymore.
really?
People
It's
aren't
hard to be
funny.
I don't
funny
think
anymore.
you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
We need to
T
protect
said
our comedians.
it's aged well. My guess is it hasn't, and then none of them have.
It's aged well if you don't care.
right, but
The Blazing Saddle.
I don't know how you can be a comedian in this day and age. I really don't know how.
Airplane though. I watched that probably too young. Got yelled at a bunch at school.
I showed that. I showed Monty Python and the Holy Grail to my son when he was 10, and I was like, "Oh, does this hold up?" And actually, it's kind of cool. He's in a 2D animation class right now, and he had to come out. He's like, "Well, I have to come up with a couple options. We have to animate a scene." And I was like, well, what are you thinking? And he's like, well, I'm going to do the It's Just a Flesh Wound from Monty Python. I'm like,
no, you're not.
My guy. Oh, my God. That's so good. And then he was showing me some of the art that he drew from it. And it was I'm like,
this is my child.
Hilarious.
This is my child.
Thank God.
South Park movie. All the songs.
So good. Rhett writes in, can we really afford to wait till the 3rd round or later to take a wide receiver in the draft when we have one of the worst wide receiver separation numbers last year? Yes, we might find a wide receiver in the 3rd round that's better than our current wide receivers, but is that really saying much? I don't think it will move the needle relative to the other team's offensive firepower. I mean,
So,
go ahead.
But you can do that, and I would agree with you. You know that if you wait to the third round, you're probably not getting a guy that's, changing the game. But you just change the position, and you're going to have the same question no matter which one you put off for third.
Yep.
So, like, if you get Marvin Harrison, and then you decide to take a flyer on Bo Nix or Joe Milton, like in later rounds, now you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
So
Right.
what difference does that make?
Jacoby.
And I don't care. Like Jacoby Brissett could play well.
It's not the future.
And you could win some games. It's not making you any better. It's not really helping you. Like, you need to get a quarterback in order to start. Now, if you don't want to do it right away, that's fine. You can build pieces around your team and gradually get better, but then you still have to figure out a way to get that quarterback at some point.
The interesting thing to me is the second round pick. Just like, I don't know, T. Higgins, just right there.
Yeah.
It's the shiny toy,
Yeah.
and I'm curious.
I won't
to
be
see-
mad if they do it that way.
I would love that. I'm just curious to see where he goes, and hopefully it's here. But I don't know. There's always that one big trade.
Well, I meant in the draft. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad if they took a Mitchell or one of those guys, in the 34th pick instead of the tackle. You know me.
Yeah.
Can always plug in a
Right.
guy. Someone's going to block.
AD Mitchell. No.
Yeah.
No,
I like the two kids from Texas.
Yeah, Worthy's the other one,
Yeah.
right? I think that they have a better chance of getting a tackle with the 34th pick that can play right away.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any chance of getting a tackle in the third round that's going to be able
I
to
feel
play
like
right
it-
away.
Yep.
But I don't mind if they say, well, whoever that guy is so much better than the tackle. We had to take him. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we talked about. I think maybe 2 weeks ago.
Back to what we talked
Just
about.
talked
Catch
about.
that one?
Talk about it.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
In New York, all
You
of a
and
sudden.
Worcester?
Well, just be specific. They don't have an outside receiver, and like even if you drafted, in the second round, another one of these little guys who can't really play outside, like I still feel like you've got a problem. So it's really, to me, a question of if you are going to wait till the third round, can you find a potential developmental outside guy, somebody with some size that brings a presence on the outside that's going to either with their speed draw some coverage or, with their size draw some contested catch ability. Because I look at Osborne, I look at Pop, I look at even Juju to, at his best, and they're all kind of inside receivers. So I don't know. I don't believe at all that you have to wait on the quarterback. But with the receiver, the last piece of it, I think that you kind of have to wait, especially when you have no left tackle, really even on the roster at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But moving right along. All right, let's jump into this one here from Michael. Greetings, everyone. Trying to call in for the last couple of shows and have not been able to get on. Never had that issue before. Yes, the phones are down, Michael. Anyway,
Today.
a couple thoughts today.
They were
but it's
on-
going to get better.
They were
and-
on Tuesday. We had stacked phone lines on Tuesday. That's because Fred was here.
Yeah, and I brought the show down with
Correct.
my boring call.
That is correct.
The show and the phone lines.
Paul has made it a point to tag Deuce as sneaky negative every once in a while. I propose an update to sneaky negative and opportunistically dirty.
Oh, yeah.
His
Good
recent
call.
drive-by working blue remarks under his breath are hilarious and The Office like. Like that. Appreciate that. It's definitely one of my things.
That's highly accurate.
Would also
He's a
like
dirty, dirty little thing.
Would also like to submit a nominee for 2024 Best Moment of the Podcast. Alex's all-out laugh after Fred's comments on having Dan Orlovsky come out of a cake for Evan's bachelor
I haven't
party
laughed that hard in a really long
was
time.
the sonic personification of joy and
really
made
have
my
not
week.
laughed that hard in
We
a
should
long
see. We
time.
should see if.
I was laughing about that hours later at home.
We should see if he'll do a cameo for Evan.
Oh my
and
God,
send it to
yes.
him.
Who would be the? Who
What
do
do
you
we
think
make
would be
him
the guy?
wear?
Who would be the guy for Evan?
Who's the biggest? I mean, well,
Josh
the problem
Allen.
is
Because he probably doesn't respect
Josh
anybody's film
Allen.
break.
yeah, well, that's why I'm like you probably want himself to pop out of the cake.
Because he probably doesn't respect anybody else's film
Josh
break.
Allen. Oh,
Josh
for-
Allen.
It would be like
Is
Greg,
Josh
you'd have-
Allen on Cameo?
You'd have Greg Cosell. Oh, Josh Allen's good, but you have like Greg Cosell pop out.
Or
and be
Mac.
Like, I don't have a use for him.
He doesn't know these things.
Scar.
Scar, you said?
Scar would be. And Scar would do
Was
it.
Scar
too.
doing striptease? You think so?
That's funny.
Pump out of a cake?
But it might not have like Josh.
No, I mean,
no.
Yeah, I
Wait,
meant
who's-
just more in terms
No.
of like the cameo.
Oh,
as
I got
opposed-
it.
yeah.
Mike McDaniel, an offensive whiz kid.
Would
that
he
just-
like that?
Yeah, I think he would.
Do
And
you
Mike
like that?
McDaniel's just
Evan,
crazy enough to do
Evan,
it.
Do you like that?
He's like vaping as he comes out of the cake. Like, hey, my cake. We saw Mike McDaniel in the owners meeting. He cracks me up, man. As much as I want to hate him because he's the Dolphins coach, I think he's hilarious. Spee coming in again, keeping us off topic. What's the deal with Generation Alpha, those born roughly between 2010 and now? They've been described as feral and illiterate, screen-bound, and unsocialized. COVID was certainly a factor, but the gentle parenting trend seems largely to blame. Where does this go with Spee? With late Gen X, that's me, yeah, but mainly millennials, the parenting pendulum has swung toward permissiveness and a lack of boundaries, helping to create a generation of tech-enslaved tantrum machines.
What came out in 2010?
Oh, boy.
Touch grass.
Oh, boy.
What came out in 2010? The iPad.
iPad
The new babysitter.
I mean, it's
COVID too.
It's crazy.
Not
like
in 2010, but
go to someone like Campbell. Campbell is definitely a screen kid, but he's also a super active kid. And then like I'll go to some of his basketball practices, and like other parents will just have their kids sitting there, bent over, full volume, just watching a show or like playing this game where it just looks like absolute chaos the whole time for hours straight. It's kind of trouble.
You're like playing catch with Tyson while Campbell's practices are going on.
This is a rabbit hole I can't go down.
No, it's
we're overstimulating our kids with these little iPad shows.
It's the YouTubes. It's pretty scary.
And it's all geared individually to everybody. So
remember
no
what
one
we were
ever
talking about on Tuesday? We're dumbing down society.
Oh, okay.
It's starting there.
I just
These
look
kids
at it
can't
like
read.
Things just got
kids
read.
can't read.
They're very
kids
educational
cannot
shows.
read anymore.
They can't read. You're right about that, and they also can't write.
They can't speak.
Yeah.
They are
I
socially
have to disagree
awkward.
with you. LePan and I's kids are these kids that you're talking about, and our kids are geniuses compared to some other kids. They watch educational videos on the iPads.
Well, they have you and LePan.
But that's different. But what I'm saying is everything is geared toward the individual now. So you never have to be subjected to something you're not interested in or you don't like. So therefore, you are shut off from anything that might be different from your particular skill.
Our kids aren't staring at Peppa Pig and SpongeBob for hours.
But
they're
you
watching
get the best
PC
dad award,
videos.
Matt.
But also, Matt, your kids are still young.
They're 5 and 7.
Yeah, like we're not talking about them. We're talking about the 18-year-olds that
Talking
are
about kids
completely
born
socially
from
stunted.
2010
We're
to
talking
now,
about
right?
the 10-year-old girls running around Sephora making
Yeah, I don't know.
messes
I don't
of
know what Spee is
everything
talking
and-
about. Like
Let's talk about what Spee's talking about.
that just came out of nowhere. I don't know. That was like a
It really
that was
was.
like
Feral
a
is the perfect
sprinkler
word, though.
offense. You just
They're-
took
they're all
everybody out
feral.
with that one. But I just think everything is geared to the individual. Like when I was growing up, like there were times where you weren't allowed to watch whatever you wanted on television because your parents were watching television, and you didn't have 9 televisions in the house, or screens that you could just go and find the thing that you wanted to watch.
And if you missed the show, you missed the show.
And sometimes you ended up watching things, and you were like, "Well, I didn't know. I didn't think that would be something I was interested in, but I kind of like that. I'm going to watch that now." You know,
expanding
or
your
whatever.
horizons rather
And
than
God forbid.
algo.
So we had a conversation in the lunchroom yesterday, and we were talking about. I was telling a story about like I like to tell stories about
storyteller.
stories. We were going out when I was like 16, 17 years old, and my friends, like there'll always be one guy driving, and you just like you would make a phone call. I'm like, okay, we're going to the Palace at 8 o'clock. Joey will be by. So like
settled.
Yeah, that was it. And you called one guy, and usually there was always one. It started like there's always like a nucleus to a fan group. I mean, a friend group. There's always one person that sort of
the glue guy.
Yeah, the glue guy was always Mark, and he's the one who told you be
Shout out
ready.
Mark.
Be ready at 8, right? And Anthony was like, "You mean you had to make plans without a group text?" And I was like, "Yes,
Right.
Anthony."
And then everybody weighs in and has their like, well, I can't go there. How about this? No, I can't.
No. Like you either went,
yeah,
and if you couldn't go, you didn't go. But now it's like they're my kids. They both have groups of friends that are like 12, 15 strong. If at least 10 of them don't do it, they're out.
Yeah,
it's like it's unbelievable. Like I'm like, well, what if like 2 of you want to like go to Tony C's, get something to eat, maybe watch a movie? You can't do that. I don't even want to use the words that they say to describe that. If you do it, I think you could figure that out.
Yeah. Well, this concludes the serious portion of us. Get off our screens. Paul in the colony.
That was the serious portion.
Paul in the colony. Amen. Spinal Tap. Yes, 1,000% on my list. Probably the top 5. I don't know how I didn't think of Spinal Tap, but Spinal Tap all day. As well as Bronson. no Adam Sandler movies. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore came to me, but we had already moved on.
That was a miss.
I think what would you take first in a Sandler movie draft? I'll just say the 4, but if there's another one you think of, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, Big Daddy, or Mr. Deeds. I'd go Billy Madison for myself there.
I would go Billy Madison.
Billy Madison,
Happy
one.
Gilmore,
Happy
1 and
2.
2. I don't care what order you want to put them in.
I liked Big Daddy. I might
Mr.
put
Deeds
that.
off the list and Little Nicky on it.
Big Daddy would be 3.
Am I gonna get hate for Longest Yard? I love The Longest Yard.
That doesn't count, though.
What do you mean? It's Adam Sandler.
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, but Chris
You
Rock
do
is the
know-
funniest part of the movie. It's not like a comedy.
Plus, it was someone else's movie.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
you're
a
talking
remake.
OG.
No, I'm
original.
just saying, like, it was somebody else's. I mean, I don't know about Billy Madison and Happy, for
But-
all I know.
The Longest Yard.
Longest
is
Yard was
not
Bruce.
a comedy.
It was Burt Reynolds.
Yeah,
like that was a
What
Burt
was
Reynolds movie.
Big Daddy? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah,
one
that was
too.
pretty
Yeah.
funny too.
With the little kid.
Yeah.
He was
Little
great.
blonde kid. He was so cute.
The twins.
That's back to Nickelodeon, right? Weren't they on? Oh, is that a
Yeah,
Disney?
no,
Well, is that a Disney show or
Fun-
Nickelodeon?
Is that? Oh yeah, you're right. That's Cole and Dylan Sprouse.
Yeah.
Funny you
Sweet
s-
Life of Zach and Cody. Wow.
Which one is that? Is
That's
that a
Disney.
Nickelodeon
That's
or Disney?
Disney.
That's
No,
Disney.
not Drake and Josh. Funny you say that, Paul, because Anthony writes in, any chance any of you watched the documentary about the Nickelodeon Kids
Yeah,
show?
I did.
Talking about
Insane.
that.
And it's powerful, and that was a typical Deuce right there. It's a good thing it wasn't Drake. And, yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to just gloss over something that
I don't
was,
know
like,
what happened. I didn't see it. I just know
tragically
they were involved.
horrible.
Really? Okay,
Oh
then
my
I
God.
apologize. I don't even know what it was. I haven't seen it. All I
It's
know is that Ricky from
bad.
Better Off Dead was the problem. So that's bizarre.
Oh, who's Ricky from Better Off Dead?
He's like the fat guy with the glasses. It's Dan Schneider. He was
From Head of the Class.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you this from watching, and I haven't seen it all, and you guys might feel differently. Did no one watch it at
I didn't
all?
watch it all. I've seen clips.
So I would say Dan Schneider is obviously a problem. He was highly inappropriate. The other guy, the dialogue coach that molested Drake Bell. And
Oh, geez. I
others,
feel
like,
bad now.
That's the guy that like. There's a special place in hell for that guy.
Yeah.
Like that was far more damaging. I think Schneider was. I think and there was a quote in one of the episodes that said like he just kind of like suffered from Arrested Development. Like he was clearly not that kid in school growing up, and then he got all this power, and he had all these cute 12-year-old girls that owed everything to him, and he sort of preyed on that, but not physically, inappropriately, I would say. Horrible. Like the stuff that he did to Ariana Grande, horrible stuff, but nothing by comparison to the other guy, Brian Peck, I think his name was. He went to jail for what he did to Drake.
Got a little too heavy.
Oh,
here.
and it's worth watching. You guys should see it.
I'll watch it.
It's worth watching. And there's another one.
What's it on?
I think it's on.
HBO, I think.
I think it's on Max. Yeah, and that's on. There's a 5th episode coming out like next week, I think.
Yeah, I heard about the bonus one.
David May makes me crack up with, why don't you guys hang up that map that's sitting on the floor next to Paul? It's been sitting there for God knows how long. Just hang it up.
It moves different.
Why do you
spots
even
on the
have that
floor
anyway?
Sometimes.
Well, so the reason that the map is there is because we used to put a pin in every country that we got a listener from. And I think we've sort of exhausted that. I don't think we get anything.
I think it'll be centerpiece of the new studio. They're planning on making a digital map, and no, I don't know. I just think it's like a giant thing that no one knows what to do with now.
I'm not really in favor of the improvements that are
86.
coming, but what are we going to do?
Oh, it would be nice. Just one more, Paul. I didn't see this, but Nick from Connecticut says, I'm curious if any of you saw Paul's Twitter fight with Seth Davis. I found myself on the couch cracking up as people accused Paul of being a homer and biased. However, they crossed the line when they accused him of openly rooting for the team. As a Perillo disciple, I jumped in with proof of Paul not being a homer and defended Paul's honor. I was just hoping some of you got the same enjoyment out of that interaction.
So
that I did.
I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain. Seth Davis gets under my skin like I don't think anybody else does on Twitter. I love college basketball. I love the tournament. And this is a guy who's the lead analyst for CBS who's just openly rooting for Purdue. And I don't care if Purdue wins, loses. I don't have a dog in the fight. My team stinks. Northeastern is terrible. They finished 12-20. So I don't care who wins the national title. I'm not rooting or against anybody.
Just want to have a good time.
Okay? I don't understand why it's suddenly an okay. Back to like what we talked about on Tuesday with like these media hats. Like he's telling people on Twitter, Zach Edey is the greatest, and if you don't like Zach Edey, you're doing it wrong. And I'm rooting. And so I just said, like, when did it become okay to just openly root for a team? And he goes, I'm rooting for Purdue. Get over it. That was our Twitter fight. And then people were saying like that.
Well, guy that works for the team.
I actually said, he goes, I actually work for a team, and I'm not allowed to openly root for the Patriots. And then people are like, come on, you don't root for the Patriots? This and that. I'm like, not in the press box, not on the air like Seth Davis is. And then, like, I didn't go back and forth with these because that was it. You know, like, but I was very happy. I got him to respond. I got him to take the cheese. I can't stand him. I think he is everything that is wrong with journalism today. It's just rich kid, entitlement, my way or highway. Like, there's
tell you how to think.
Nothing
You don't like being
original.
told how to think, Paul?
Nothing original about that guy at all, and I was very proud of myself for casting my line and having him.
Got it.
I got a nibble.
You reeled him in. This one, Matt Morrell, take note of this one because I do think this is a good idea from Andrew. Can someone please get a hold of the clip or audio sample of Evan's live reaction to the Cole Strange draft pick? If you guys haven't heard it, it's hilarious. There was just something magical and deeply amusing about the momentary lapse in ability to contain the frustration and despair, despite his usual calm and optimistic nature, knowing in his heart how bad Bill B had messed up. Then snapping back to reality of being on air and having to maintain professionality. It exists on YouTube,
Which
Matt.
dovetails perfectly to what I'm just talking about. Like, you have an air of professionalism that you need to at least try to maintain. Not Seth Davis, though. You're doing it wrong. If you don't like who I like, you're doing it wrong.
You don't know hoops.
Dog McLeod's on fire
all know
today.
that.
He sent in not only a really funny meme of me watching Super Bowl 51, but also a nice. He had the perfect cake for Evan. He's got Kyle Shanahan popping out. How did we not think of that one? Kyle Shanahan, right? We love the Shanahan offense.
Could get Brock Purdy.
Is he on? Let me see if he's on cameo. Brock Purdy would be funny.
All right, and let's. Well, we're not quite done, but let's. I do want to wrap up with this one. This is a good.
Oh boy!
Don't do it to me.
I don't know what to say. The Patriots have drafted offensive lineman Cole Strange from Chattanooga with the 29th pick in the draft.
They did it
Cole
to us, Evan.
Strange, in my mind, is a 4th round pick that the Patriots are taking here with the 29th pick. I am trying to be as professional as I possibly can with this analysis and not lose my head. He is very experienced. Yeah, I can read my notes on him. I had him as my 8th rated interior offensive lineman in the draft. 44 career starts, hyper aware and pass protection, good feel for the position, hand strength, outside hand strikes, makes it difficult to dent the corner on him, has play speed to work laterally and up to the second level, feet sustain and run through the blocks, good double team technique, polished all around, loves looking for work. They drafted a starting guard in the 1st round that, in my mind, is a 3rd or a 4th round guy. And this is a definition, in my opinion, of getting too cute with it. Like, there's just no other way to put it. This Bill Belichick, for all the smoke that he blows up our you-know-whats about how need doesn't matter and you don't draft based off of need, you draft based off of talent and you draft based off of best player available. I don't ever want to hear Bill Belichick say that to us ever again.
Whew. Woof. Didn't hold back.
Who was with him there? It sounded like he was in the bottom of a well.
No, it might have been
John Zanis.
Yeah, John Zanis from CLNS.
So he was at the bottom of a well.
There you go. All right, now
I'm
we
such a jerk.
Now we can do one last football
I'm
question.
just kidding. I like John.
It's funny.
I do. I like John.
Do you guys believe with Thornton bulking up and the focus of a developing coaching style, he can stretch the field and be an X? It's funny because I didn't even mention Thornton when I was kind of running down my wide receivers. And no, I mean that's a question we brought up a couple weeks ago.
Last year with him?
Yeah.
He gets bulked up every year. It's
No.
like the,
Didn't he bulk up last year?
I don't believe it. I just think he always takes a picture right
he's
after he's
tiny.
got the pump.
It's
you
like
know?
the Ben Simmons
Oh,
shooting
the
three
TJ.
pointers.
Right when he's got the
TJ when he's done at the gym and he goes over to the mirror and he gets the
the flex down. He shakes out the quad and then he kind of does.
Then he gets home and he
the
tries to
Schwarzenegger
step.
thing.
He tries to step on me. He gets in my face.
You want some, old man?
I said, get off my face, little boy. Only I don't call him boy.
Oh boy, well, it's been a fun one, guys. We did dabble a little bit of football, but we touched on a lot of extracurricular topics, which I think was fun. We got a little bit out of the usual.
We did. I appreciate the effort, everybody. Thank you, because
Yeah.
I was in a bad place with the 3rd overall pick.
So we we got Easter this weekend, so we're hopping toward Easter Sunday, and there's no time like the present to get party ready with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop tons of on-trend dining sets with plenty of style and storage for all your brunching needs. And while you're here, complete the look with seasonal accents and outdoor styles made for warm weather hosting only at Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture the official furniture store of the New England Patriots and of Paul's studio, where hopefully we'll be broadcasting from this summer.
Yeah, we'll see.
During the preseason. And lastly, one more time, hey Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots, Toyota. Let's go to see you next week. So enjoy your weekend, everyone. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.